Let's freaking go. I'm so glad to be back, guys. Last 2 weeks was not fun, but this has been a good week. Welcome to Big Freaking Friday on the College Football Mafia Network. I'm your host, Nathan Balmer Brown. With me are my co-hosts and partners. That would be the Wild Ute and Moen. Ute, you've been busy doing videos.
So many videos, baby, in so little time. Hey, just remember this, guys. Do not merge ACC and Big 12.
I saw
the
that
video. Don't freaking merge. Makes no sense. Come at me with anything to the contrary. It's insanity to even talk about merger between ACC and Big 12.
I could not agree more. If you don't know what he's talking about, go to Ute's feed or my feed on Twitter, and you will see the link. It's over on College Football Express with Rock and Rant. It was fantastic. It was only like 25 minutes. It was really, really incisive, and I appreciate it. And then there's Moen down there just hanging out, nowhere in a hat today. I need to personally apologize to Moen for last week. I just I was feeling horrible, and Moen picked up the slack, and I really, really appreciate it. Just want to make sure he knows that I appreciate him stepping up and doing that stuff for me, as well as Daniel Gygax, who also pitch it for me. Thank you, Moen, for doing that, and I appreciate all of the hard work you do.
You're welcome.
That's it? That's all you're going to give me? How about this?
I mean, do you want me to sacrifice an animal on your behalf or something?
No. I expected you to go to the next thing. I just thought, yeah, Bomber, shut up. Here's the news I want to cover today.
Hey, new members only video dropped yesterday.
That was good too. That was very, very good. In fact, all the Moen Confidentials have been fantastic the last several weeks.
Yeah, thank you. It's been fun doing a lot of math.
Really?
You love it,
you like math?
It is.
I've had to go back 20 years in time to my college education and try and remember how to do a lot of formulas and equations, but I think I picked it up pretty well.
All right, well, I'm going to make you feel
formula. I mean, like, seriously, like, that is a very good expression that you've got right there. I love it, actually. Every Moen Confidential and stuff. The actual
they've gotten a lot more sophisticated.
And you've got all the algebra you'd want right there, baby. I love it.
Right, and it just lets people and it lets people argue with my math because, whatever weight I assign something is probably not right. So, Florida State fans in particular, Big 12 fans in particular,
I imagine. That's okay. You love to hate. That's how it goes. I'm gonna make Moen feel good because we're gonna start with the very first thing that posted just this evening, and that is this news right here. And if I could bring it up on the screen, I would. I don't know where everything went. There we go. Stuart Mandel is the first news I saw. In the first year of the Big Ten's 18-team lineup, which is 2026-27, the TV deal went from 880 to $137 billion. And that math, if we're doing math, breaks out to about $76 million per team. And I've got a little video about Kirby Smart doing the bemoans. But Moen, why don't you go into this a little bit for us? Tell everybody how big of a deal it is.
It's actually a little more than $76 million per school. You have to remember that Washington and Oregon are only getting paid 40%.
Right.
So that extra 60%, that gets pushed back in there to them. So, yeah, I mean, look, the Big Ten signed the biggest media deal in college athletics. It's coming to fruition, and Stuart Mandel, of course, slides a dig in there. Apparently, it's still not enough if they need PE money.
Right. Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
It's public capital money, not PE money,
Right.
Stuart. But
Very good.
yeah, I think everybody's going to be jumping on that train soon. It's never going to be enough. So I'm happy for my school. I'm happy for the other schools involved. So congratulations to the Big Ten. Big deal. It's roughly like 78 or 79 per school when you take into account the partial share from Oregon, Washington. And the SEC is actually at like 72.4. So making more money than the SEC, that's what I care about.
And there's a little overhead in there too for operations for the Big Ten. If we're being all the numbers, there is some additional. I want to say it's 12 or 15 million, something like that for Big Ten operations. But this is where you live, brother. I mean, I don't know if you saw this report. You probably were on the freeway when it was posted. What are your thoughts?
To bring me my money.
What I think right there, Big Ten, the money truck is backing up here. The gap has officially got to what? Big 12 is getting around 30 million, and we're at 76 for Big Ten. The gap is almost $40 million today. It's not a theoretical thing anymore. It's getting bigger and bigger. Woo, man! It's I'm thinking good for Moen, good for the Big Ten.
Sure,
really makes it very hard to compete in today's world if you're in the Big Ten or the SEC. That's what I'm thinking. But good for you. Good for Ohio State. You need more money. There's never enough money, and you will get more money when you go to unequal revenue sharing. Don't you worry about that, Moen. You're going
to. I would just say this. I think you win and you get paid. Win ball games. And the only people that can complain about not winning ball games are people that don't play. And right now that's the Big 12. So just take it for what it is, but you get what you earn, and that's how it goes. And I know that because another story right here. This is Kirby Smart. I'm going to play this video. It's 1:30, and listen to Kirby Smart talk about how bad the Big Ten is actually beating the SEC.
The college football.
Did it play? Let me try one more time.
Landscape is.
It's not playing for some reason. I apologize.
It is
basically.
Playing.
Is it? You see, I can't hear it again, Moen.
It's really.
Yeah, he's playing.
I'll let it play. I know where
you're trying to maximize your screen right there on your X feed. You maximize it. So the one to the right. Scroll down to the right. Right. Go right.
Right there? Right there.
Right there. Yeah, now try it. See if you'll get this to play.
Yeah, I thought I had. I apologize. The operator error, certainly.
I don't know.
Not running. It ran earlier before we started. Anyways, bottom line, and I'll take that off there. Bottom line is basically we went to Kirby Smart complaining and bitching and moaning about the fact that the SEC is now second fiddle to the Big Ten. And the only reason that the Big Ten, any Alabama team from 2011, 12, 13, 14 would beat any team in college football right now. How do you guys handle that? I mean, Kirby Smart, the irony that he would say that. Now he's obviously putting himself in there too with Georgia. I mean, it's stacking 5 stars, 3 or 4 deep. That's how you win championships.
It's harder to keep that, though. And the SEC is getting 5-star talent as freshmen, but they are not getting the type of transfer portals that the Big Ten is. And guys, it's all about booster support. Forget rev share. Like the real recruiting comes through booster support. We all know that. In collectives and pay for play. That is where the game's played. That's where the Big 12 the Big 10 excels. And that ain't changing anytime soon. The SEC is in a world of hurt. They're going to make plenty of money, like grundles of money and stuff. And so they'll be able to do more rev share. But so will the Big Ten schools. At the end of the day, until there's a cap on NIL, outside NIL, they are screwed. They're screwed. The SEC is totally screwed compared to the Big Ten. It's not changing. It's all about outside booster support. That's what's causing wins and losses in college football today into the future until there is actually regulation. So this ain't changing anytime soon. That's the SEC's problem right there.
Moen.
Yeah, it's easy to say if you go back to 2011 when Alabama was paying players under the table, over-signing, and, getting all these 4 and 5-star kids. Yeah, of course, the 4 and 5-star is now more evenly spread. Everybody's allowed to pay players now. So for Kirby Smart to go back and say, well, in 2011, that 2011 Alabama team could beat anybody. Yeah, because you were cheating. You were cheating, Kirby.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jimbo Fisher knows where the body's buried. He said he knows where the bodies are buried. So, yeah, the 2011 Alabama squads probably could beat anybody currently because there's just a lot more talent that was compacted in there through illegal paying of players and over-signing, and, it was just a lot easier to get 4 and 5-star kids all to come to one school.
This is a fascinating topic because at the end of the day, which is a better college football product? Alabama, LSU 6-3 in a national championship game or whatever that is, and SEC games are all anybody ever watches except for the game or a random Notre Dame game every year. Or now when literally Indiana in 2 years takes the worst program in college football history and wins a national championship.
It's better product with Indiana winning. It's more compelling and everything, and you're getting out of just a region of dominance in the SEC down south. So I think it's healthy for the sport, but it's bad for the SEC. The SEC is in a pickle, guys. This is a pickle. That's why they want regulation. That's why they want silos to stop the booster outside collector support. That's killing them. And like I'm telling you, I'll just keep repeating that and repeating that and repeating that until it changes. They have to figure out a way to stop booster collective pay for play or cap it, or else they are going to be the clear number 2 forever. Like that is the dire situation. They all see it. They can smell it. We can smell it. And so it's right there. They've got big problems. It's not 10 years ago. It's not 5 years ago. There's no stacking multiple players. There's no bagmen anymore. There's no Chick-fil-A bags that you're handing under the table and stuff. This is real hard cash. We're talking about multi-millions, tens of millions of dollars for players. So different world.
Really quick, we got probably a bunch of new people watching this. We want to do a little education. We've covered this for 3.5 years. But can you just in 30 seconds tell everybody why the Big Ten has more money than the SEC?
Yeah, to put it really simply, is they've got wealthier alumni that have, a lot of them are business owners that have big companies or CEOs of big companies, and they've got a lot more money, huge money to throw into their programs. That is why we're talking about just the alumni. And like in each state too, if you look at each state, I think like in the state of Alabama, there might be 1, maybe 2 billionaires. And some of these Big Ten states like California, I'm sure like Ohio and Michigan and stuff, you're getting a lot of billionaires living in these places that went to school in these Big Ten schools, and they're throwing money at these programs. They don't even care. It means nothing. $100 million to some people, like in these roles, means nothing. And so it's a different world. It's different money. It's not just a McDonald's bag, with 10G anymore. It is 10 mil. And so it's a different world with a different clientele that's funding the programs, guys. That's why.
Moen, I'll give you the last word.
It's not just the Big Ten. Resurgence of Miami and the ACC. You've got Notre Dame out there spending money. Texas Tech. Obviously they made the playoffs this year in the Big 12. So, I mean, there's a lot of teams out there that have suddenly found now that we can legally pay players that they can field very competitive teams. And the SEC is just going to have to deal with it. And the best way they can deal with it is the only way they know how, to complain.
I love it. I will post that link again because it was just remarkable to hear Kirby Smart. I mean, the irony was just dripping. Anyways, I'll get that out on Twitter after the show. Next story, and I'm going to put the headline up here at the top. I've changed it around so that Moen's not covered up anymore. I'm going to add to stage this one, and this one, Moen, I'm going to leave to you after I read a few stats about it. Brendan Sorsby has admitted himself into a residential gambling addiction house or something, system of some sort, and has put himself on leave. Texas Tech has put him on leave. Obviously, he went there for $5 million of NIL money, estimated $5 million in the offseason. There are a few stats I wanted to read quickly, and I was going to give Moen some time on this. The original NIL deal was for $4 to $6 million for the 2026 season. The gambling investigation, thousands of online sports bets, roughly over 4 years. Betting while an athlete. There is an allegation that at Indiana, as a redshirt freshman, and then he ended up playing in one of the last games of the year. I think it was Penn State. He bet on Indiana games. Well, he didn't bet on his own game, but in the rules it says you can't bet on you're not supposed to bet at all, but you certainly can't bet on your own school. That was 2022. There are no game fixing allegations. It's not like he's point shaving or anything, so nobody's saying that. And then he took a leave of absence just the end of this month or last month, April, and he has this eligibility risk where he might be out of college football forever. Texas Tech is going to have to make a decision. Do we fight for this kid because we want to win a national championship, or does he go to the supplemental draft? So those are some of the things that have happened with this story. Moen, can you add any more color to really how this is affecting all of college football, and not only Brendan Sorsby?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're placing 10,000 wagers, if you're going to Cincinnati Red games and betting on individual pitches, you have a gambling problem. That there's no way around that. My issue becomes it's convenient to go to rehab the day before that story breaks.
That's true.
Yeah.
And he reportedly self-reported himself too. That's what the story said.
Right, but I think he probably self-reported himself, and he had some idea this was coming down the pike. The fact he bet on Indiana while he was a player at Indiana, he's ineligible. I'm sorry. I know Texas Tech fans don't want to hear that, but if we're going to hold the standards that we held the Iowa State and the Iowa players to, you're going to have to make it. And remember, the Iowa State player bet on Iowa State softball, and
is that Deckers?
Deckers, yeah, and ended up getting losing permanent eligibility for the NCAA. Sorsby's done. I mean, Texas Tech, they're more than willing to, if they want to fight for the kid, they can, but it's going to be a really bad look for the NCAA if basically you can buy somebody out of ineligibility.
Boy, that's true.
And, you know, the other question is Cincinnati claims they didn't know. I don't know if that's the case or not. Cincinnati may be on the hook. There might be an NCAA investigation into Cincinnati as well to determine if they played him and knowingly played him being ineligible. That's a very serious charge. That's loss. You can get games taken away, bowl bans, all that stuff. So there's actually two programs that are really faced. I don't know what the wording is for the NIL deal that Brendan has with Texas Tech. I don't know if that's guaranteed money. I don't know if that's tied to any incentives or he has to actually suit up and play. I don't know the NIL contract. I don't know if Cody Campbell's just out that $4 to $6 million. But it sounds like they're going to have to go with one of the guys that was going to be backup. And I think Sorsby's going to have to go into the NFL supplemental draft.
He has to declare by the end of June 30th, if he does want to try to get into the NFL supplemental draft. Ute, I want to say this really quick off the top. We have had many opportunities to sell out to FanDuel. We've had opportunities to go to DraftKings, to do little promos between episodes. We made conscious decision, didn't we, guys? At the very beginning, we talked about it and we said we're just not going to do that. That's a Rubicon we're not going to cross. So I feel pretty good about that, right? It was ironic to see DraftKings stories reporting on his DraftKings or whatever betting issues. It was just brutal to watch.
So many different avenues to think about. And here's another question: did Indiana know of this? Like we're going to Cincinnati, but if we go back to Indiana, are they aware of it? There could be 3 schools involved in here. Serious, guys.
Yeah.
Like, didn't this happen while he was at Indiana? Like, why are we forgetting Indiana in this?
And he was only 19, by the way. He was only 19.
And so there's a lot going on. Here's like the bottom line, though. Like, you guys, if the NCAA can't enforce NIL, why can they enforce anything? Like, I'm serious about that. Like, why is everybody scared with the NCAA with this regard? Because we've got no rules anyway. So who gives a hoot on how you're cheating? Or if you're betting on like against your school or on your school, there's no rules. There's no structure. Why does this all of a sudden matter? But then the CSC can get blown up and no one's going to abide by it. I question that the NCAA can even hold this.
Really?
Oh, of course. Like, how are they going to do it?
Well, betting has been
no teeth for anything.
But betting is the Pete Rose thing, though. Betting is like always.
But you have to have structure to enforce penalty. And if the NCAA has no teeth, no structure, how are you going to enforce anything? As a recommendation?
Well,
nobody's been taking them seriously. We've bagged on them for 2 years.
They did rule Deckers at Iowa State permanently ineligible. They had the teeth to do that. They ruled one of the kids that played at Iowa ineligible. They had the teeth to do that. This is in their bylaws. You can't gamble. And this goes all the way back to the point shaving scandal in the 1950s and 60s. When the basketball programs were point shaving. So they take this very seriously. Again, I don't know. Look, I mean, what's the solution here? How do we ensure? Because how is a kid that's 19 placing bets through an app? I don't understand that because in Ohio you have to be 21. I don't know if it was different in Indiana or if he's just because every time I've signed up for FanDuel or any of these sites, you basically have to give them everything about yourself to basically prove that you're of age, you're in a state that allows it. They verify you've got to turn the location device on your phone on to verify you're within that state. So is he betting through somebody else's identity? If he's doing that, that's identity theft. But I mean, I don't know. Listen, Art Schlichter, who was a great quarterback at Ohio State, gambling addict, bad gambling addict. And he managed to do it before any of that gambling stuff was around. So, but the fact is, the gambling stuff has got to the point where I think they need to dial back what you can bet on. The fact that you can bet on an individual pitch in baseball, that's ridiculous. Yeah. If you can bet on the coin flip on a game, ridiculous. I mean, bet on who can win or lose, bet on point spreads, but all the prop bets for amateur sports need to go out the window.
Prop bets are destroying a generation, in my opinion. I mean, go ahead.
It's true. Do you guys mind if I pull up? I posted yesterday.
Go for it. Yeah,
and I think there's the biggest loser of all right here. Okay, I'm serious about this, guys. I think this is a tragedy for Sorsby, Bren Sorsby, right here, because if you look at what he's lost and what he will lose out of this stupidity, just prop betting and everything, look at the financial repercussions of this. So he had about $800,000 from Cincy. That's gone. He's being sued for $1 million through Cincy. So litigation costs, if that goes through, I mean, who knows what that looks like, but it's going to be expensive just to get out of that suit. I have no idea what that's going to look like, but basically all the Cincy money is going to be gone after taxes, after everything, after this lawsuit, gone. $5 million NIL from Texas Tech, gone. That's gone, guys. Like, he's not playing for Texas Tech. There's there's language in these contracts. I mean, where you're not playing, you're not going to get paid. It's not upfront cash anymore. And then the biggest of all is like he was truly an estimated first round pick. That is not conjecture or anything. That is really what he was projected at, right? And so if you're looking at a first round pick, 4 or 5 year contract, $20 to $50 million in money. So if you're looking at all these money sources, $1 million from Cincy, 5 from Texas Tech, 20 to 50 million possibly from the NFL for being a first round pick if he just performs like he was supposed to. This cost him about $50 to $60 million possibly. And he's talking about going into the supplemental draft and signing some cheap small contract while still being sued by Cincinnati. He might go bankrupt.
Well, and you're forgetting also, we don't know how much money he lost gambling.
That's right.
Sure.
We don't
He
know
could
if he
have
won
spent
or
it all.
lost.
The guy's looking at bankruptcy where he should be in the $50 to $60 million net worth next year. That's how big a tragedy it is. And maybe he turns it around in the supplemental draft. Maybe he gets drafted and becomes a star in the NFL. That's very unlikely. But this has cost him an absolute fortune. And it's actually really sad, to be honest with you guys. It is. He's the biggest loser of all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure how supplemental the NFL supplemental draft works. I know you basically set the pick that you're giving up the following
That's
year.
how it works. It's a bidding process.
Right.
And some
So
kids don't even get drafted. Some kids don't even get picked.
But I mean, it's possible somebody could take a first round on him thinking that they're not going to get a great first round pick next year.
So,
but I doubt that. I think he probably would be a third or fourth round supplemental pick. Simply because of the gambling issue, again,
right.
Pro teams don't want that either. I mean, that's, famously, I can't think of the guy from the Atlanta Falcons name who got busted for a year. Basically wasn't allowed to play for a year because he gambled on
Calvin
NFL
Ridley
football.
Yeah,
Ridley.
So Arizona needs a quarterback.
Well, they got Beck. They drafted Beck.
They did. I'm just saying, you have in the NFL, you can get past a lot of stuff. And he was only 19 when he was betting. I'm not saying anything. I'm not excusing him. They should be held accountable. He needs help and all these things. Everything you said, I have not seen anybody else talk better about it. But he is an NFL arm. He's big. And he's mobile, and he's going to be playing on Sundays. It's just going to be who takes the flyer on him, and can they police him enough to control him? Because Josh Gordon was in the league, 5, 6, 7 years, and he was an absolute coke fiend and kept coming back because of his talent.
Right. He kept getting suspended too. So,
but that's the point. Seattle took him, knowing he had all these drug problems, and he kept going back into rehab. He kept reporting, but he also could score in one play and turn an entire game on its head. So we're talking about the NFL at the end of the day. Anyway.
Josh Gordon was at Utah for 2 months. He was in Utah for 2 months.
That. No.
Then he was smoking weed, so they kicked him out.
Did he really? No, I didn't know that.
So
wow.
he what a track record. So, hey, we got some super chats, guys. We got some memberships. Can we get
that's why I was just gonna get to those. You're reading my mind. Okay, let's jump into the news. First, what is this? We've got Daniel the Other Guy Gax shouting out with 5 gifted memberships. Moen, hit the button. Let's go.
Man, where's my West Virginia song?
Yeah, let's get it.
Heaven, West Virginia.
I love it.
Daniel has gifted 5 memberships to the College Football Mafia family, and those went to Kay Maynor, Frank Ryan, Hank Full, Grillmaster 95, and Ray C. Rebel. If you received a gifted membership from Daniel Gygax, make sure you thank him in the chat. I'm sure he will appreciate it.
Thank you, Daniel.
And if you received a membership, consider paying it forward and giving one to somebody else. Let's keep this thing going. We continue. What's our sub count out now? Are we at 5,800 yet? We're close.
We're 5735 last I checked.
Okay. So we need more subs. We got 105 people watching this live right now, however those calculations work. A bunch of you are new viewers. If you're on X, jump over on YouTube. Do us a real solid. College Football Mafia. Look us up. We're the only thing that pops up. We've been around here, like I said, 3.5 years, and we're going to be around for another 3.5. You might as well buckle up, because the membership videos that we do, Moen's Confidential, the Wild Ute stuff. I do fantastic interviews with newsmakers all over college sports. That's what we do around here. And then we listen to you. I just want to encourage everybody to do that. And thank you very much, Daniel, one last time for those gifted memberships. And then we also can ring the bell again. Let's get the horn there, Moen. Let's get some foghorn going. Let's go, baby.
Let's do this thing.
University of Washington. Somebody needs to do an 8-bit challenge on tequila so Moen can play it when we hear University of Washington stuff. Thank you so much, Becky. Contributor, helps us around here. We really appreciate her all the time. Thanks for becoming a renewed member of the College Football Mafia family. Let's see if I got any more. Look at this. Evil Badger Ryan Willie. Wind that up again, Moen. Let's hit it.
Jeff Keys.
Oh, let's go.
Lou at large, Zero Wiz, Cyber Mist, 1, 2, 3.
I love it.
Rich Austin, 5849.
Excellent.
We're all gifted memberships by Ryan Willie, the Evil Badger. Thank you for the membership. Look at that. You've got the badger up and everything. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. We appreciate you helping expand our memberships around here. And now we're up to 10 new members, but I think we're going to get to number 15 here on the next one. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Daniel Gygax.
Let's go.
You, the College Football Mafia. We gave
Let's
5
go
memberships out ourselves, and those
Let's
went
go.
to Larry Lima Vibes, Has Been, Caleb Pratt, Michigander, and somebody else, but I've lost them.
Somebody else.
Noah Ramirez. Noah Ramirez.
No Ramirez. He's been around here.
So welcome to the College Football Mafia family.
Excellent.
Georgia
excellent.
Tech, guys.
Georgia
Friday night.
Georgia Tech,
Take
if
a
you
sip.
partake. That's a key word there, drinking little thing. Anyway, go ahead, Moen. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. Oh, shoot. Forget it. You do that. 1st of May, everybody. How amazing is this? I thought it was just New Year's. In fact, I thought I was just 15 years old. I cannot believe how quickly this year's gone by. Before we get to more, and we do have more premiere posts, what do you guys think about this offseason? The last 3 off seasons have been crazy. This off season, I think, maybe has been the craziest.
Guys, the title of this live stream, Sorsby's $5 billion NIL disaster, private equity for the Big 12, which is groundbreaking, and Duke's Amazon takeover. Give me a free. Yeah, it's a little bit crazy around here, right? What a freaking time.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, last
Moen?
week there wasn't a lot going on last week, and it was just kind of blah. And it seems this week we've just one hit after another of, here you go, probably the top NIL signing in the off season has a gambling issue, is likely going to be ineligible. We've got Duke has somehow secured a deal with Amazon.
We will
to
get
play
to that.
3 showcase games. The Big 12 has secured a partnership with a private equity company between Redbird Capital and Weatherford Capital. It's nuts. And we've still got CSC arbitration going on between the CSC and Nebraska.
I'm sitting on that one. I'm working on a story for that one.
What are you working on, Nate?
Don't
what are you
doing? This is in the black bag. I'm not telling anybody. I know people that know things, so I'm working on something. I haven't finished it yet, but we'll see what we can do there. Anyways, thank you so much. I agree with both of you guys. This has been chaos, but that's why we're here, right? We love this chaos. We love the Wild West. We love the way college football is now, although at times it doesn't help me and you. That's all I can say. It doesn't always help us, but we love the sport, and so we'll go with that. Becky Go Huskies, $2 super chat. Also, Becky again is a renewed member of the College Football Mafia family. No Big Ten expansion without another IU bet from Sorsby. What do you think about that one, Vaughn?
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of sad, kind of funny. He bet on Indiana when they weren't winning.
Yes.
If he'd have just waited and bet on Indiana this season, he'd have made some money.
He probably did bet on it.
He might have, actually.
I don't know. But I know when he was playing for Indiana, I don't think any of his bets won. So, yeah, kind of a sad experience that if you'd have let it ride on Indiana this season, you'd have probably walked away pretty big because I think Indiana covered everybody.
What was their number to win the whole thing? Do you know?
Oh, I have no idea. I have no idea the odds for the national championship. It had to be very long odds.
Yeah, like 36 million or something. I mean,
probably not that long, but probably at least 10,000 to 1.
Wow. So $10 gets you $100,000.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Another super chat. And I want to, by the way, shout out Ryan Willie, who's gotten back home. For all those that have been praying for the evil badger, he is finally back in his own domicile, and we hope he's feeling well and doing good. Obviously, he's been here tonight, so we really appreciate it. Moen, do you have a more personal update before I get to his super chat here?
Yeah. Very happy to have Ryan home where he belongs, gets his independence. I hope you get that new chair, Ryan. And once again,
excellent.
I am saying black and red. If you can get a paint job on it, black, red flames, get you some Wisconsin gear hanging off of it.
That would be cool. I would love to see that.
Some of them like bicycle spoke wheels.
There we go.
Really trick that bad boy out.
Yeah, send me a picture of that, Ryan. I want to see that. NASCAR colors, that would be kicking. So Ryan says, in my opinion, no NFL team will touch him.
Well,
somebody will touch
him. After his therapy, they might take a late round flyer, but I'm with you, Ryan. I don't think that it's going to cost a first or second round pick for Sorsby.
No, I think he'll be a third or fourth in the supplemental draft. That's my guess.
Yeah, and I just don't think the compensation's anything like it would have been if he was truly drafted.
Oh no, he was. If he would have gone this year, he was a first round pick, probably top 15, maybe top 10. That's how crazy that is.
Gosh.
5 to 6 million though. That's more money he would have made than he would have gotten a signing bonus, but his annual rate being a rookie in the NFL was like, I want to say it's like 3 or 4 million, not 5 million. So anyway,
I hope the best for the kid, honestly. Like, I know that he's made a lot of mistakes and everything, but man, like, he is really paying for it. I'm hoping that he can turn it around, guys.
I agree. Becky Go Huskies again, another $5 super chat. Seattle drafted Bosworth. Why did you have to bring this? Now you're going to bring me down. Becky, what are you doing to me here? We drafted Bosworth in the supplemental draft after he failed his steroid test. NFL will take a chance on the kid. Yeah, thanks for ruining my evening there. Reminded me of Brian Bosworth. Anyway, she's exactly right.
The Balls?
I liked him at Oklahoma. He came to Seattle and it ripped my heart out. I mean, Bo Jackson made him look like a little kid. So anyway, so Becky, we'll have to see. We'll turn out and find out where Sorsby ends up. Heartbreak 25, another $5 super chat. Thank you, Heartbreak 25, for being a valuable member of the College Football Mafia family. We all speculated teams wouldn't earn $90 million until 2028 from these conference payouts. OSU did it in 2025. The P2 can easily consolidate and silo. Moen.
Yeah, they could. If they choose to, if that's the route they want to go. There's no doubt in my mind they could do that. But do they want to do that? I don't know that the Big Ten necessarily wants to do that. The SEC might be more likely to do that. But again, we'll see. I don't know that I buy the silo thing again. And a silo is where you store grain and corn. Nobody wants to go sit in a silo. They're also explosive, so you definitely don't want to light a cigarette in a silo. You're right. They could. Could they? Will they? I don't know.
Ute?
The silo idea is not profitable unless it is a dual conference silo of the SEC and the Big Ten with Notre Dame added. And then we're screwed, meaning anyone outside that bunch is screwed because that is a profitable venture that's going to get more payouts. That would become the ultimate Premier League. But guess what? SEC can't silo, guys. They're
Right.
with 3 straight losses, like in the not having a natty for 3 straight years. There's just no way with this NIL development that we've talked about already. The SEC can't afford to silo. They can't afford to do it. And so they ain't going anywhere. And like with the NCAA tournament, the questions we've already talked about, that ain't happening. There ain't going to be any silos going on unless the Big Ten and the SEC want to do it together.
So I like 3 silos. A best of the rest silo, I think, helps Ute and I out. That's the only one I'm cheering for. I could care less about the other 2. Anyway.
Just get in, right?
I don't care anymore. I'm willing to sell my second child. Not my third, but my second. Anyway, I appreciate. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. We will get sounders out after we get all to the premier tweet or messages. We'll just have to get through those. That's what we're working on right now. Skaven, yes, go Big Red. Renewed member of the College Football Mafia family. Good to see you, Skaven. Yes. We appreciate you back. There was that headline, and I didn't bring it up because I knew we weren't going to have time. But Nebraska is starting to look at itself and going, what are we doing? I don't know. I love Nebraska. I was raised on Nebraska football. I don't know. What do you think, you? What does Nebraska have to do to turn it around?
Clean house.
Oof.
Clean house. Everything. Again. Clean house, everything.
Okay.
Midwest recruiting pipeline right there. I mean, like, I don't know. It's going to be a multi-pronged approach to fix Nebraska football. But we're looking at many, many years.
Oh, gosh.
And it's so difficult in this Big Ten that has so many good teams already to get up to that upper echelon. Man, like, I don't know. Unless they hit like with a Signetti type hire, which is 1 in a billion. Seriously, like, I mean, that's just striking gold, right? But Nebraska has the resources. They've got the fan base. Can they amp up recruiting, and can they get the coaching and the admin in place to compete at the highest level again? They've got the money for it. I want to see it. I think we all want to see it. Everyone loves Nebraska.
Moen, what do you think?
It's a one-prong approach. You have made the wrong coaching hire for the last 20-plus years.
Frank Solich.
You got rid of Frank Solich because he had like a 10-3 season, and that wasn't good enough. Yeah, and that wasn't good enough for you, and you had to get rid of Frank Solich. Then you got Bo Pelini. Bo Pelini, you had 8, 9, 10 win seasons under Bo Pelini, but he was too much of an asshole. You got rid of him. Yep. And then we've had Brian Callahan.
Brutal.
What the Riley from Oregon State?
Knows?
Mike Riley.
Scott
Mike
Frost.
Riley. Ooh, Mike Riley was a bad pick.
Matt Rule. I think Matt Rule is turning out to be not so great.
Yep.
I mean, his big signing was Dylan Raiola, and Dylan Raiola is not even there anymore.
Nope.
So I think you got to start at the coach. You need to get the right coach hired. And clearly the athletic department, whoever the athletic director is now, doesn't have that figured out. So maybe you need to go get a new athletic director.
It's you right. You got to change the admin too. Like you got to change it all, man. Like, but they have the bones to do it. They just have to build out the flesh. Right? The
Texas A&M
the money.
Reached in and ripped away their AD and said, bye-bye. Like, you're nothing. We don't even – Nebraska is not even on the same layer as these things. And, I mean, 78 million, you said, Moen? That'll pay for a lot of kids. So maybe it'll bring some more kids in. But, yeah, I agree with you. I think the administration needs to completely clean house. I didn't like
the problem is the arms race too of the Big Ten. Everybody's getting 78 million, so that's now the baseline, right?
Right, sure,
like,
for sure. Yeah,
it's so hard. Like you got to win your recruiting battles internally now versus Oregon, USC, and everybody else. It's such a battle in the Big Ten Conference. It's there has to be a lot to change there, but I think they've got the history to do it, the money to do it too. That's going to take a lot of change.
Here's the
We'll have
thing
to
they
see.
need to work on. Iowa has given everybody a perfect blueprint on how to compete and be successful in the Big Ten. And that's building around your defense first.
And special
there are
teams.
plenty of defensive and special team players
Yep.
that you can get in the Plain States, the Midwest,
Yeah.
get a good running back, get a solid offensive line, go from there, win 8 or 9 games, and then you can worry about stepping up. But I mean, the last time they were relevant was when Frank Solich, Bo Pelini. When Bo Pelini was coach, they had some relevance, but he was too much of an asshole and they got rid of him. And
There's no linkage to Texas anymore. That was the hotbed for recruiting for Nebraska. You
Well,
go to
they
the Big
lost
Ten, you're not in the
Oklahoma,
Big
too.
12 anymore.
Yeah.
Right. And now
But they
the
could
SEC's
still-
got Texas with the Big 12.
Yeah.
That's a huge issue, Moen. You lost your major recruiting territory. Utah's finding that out too with California. Not being in the state of California is impacting recruiting tremendously. That's real, man. So in Nebraska, that is going to be an ongoing problem. You need to get back to Texas.
Nebraska's a national brand. They could go in and get kids out of Texas. The problem is they don't have coaches that can do it.
Well, wait a second. Hold on. They were a national brand. It's
Okay.
Nebraska. We remember Nebraska. Even Ute, who's like a puppy, remembers Nebraska when they were elite. Who wants to go play football in Nebraska when you can play at Miami or you can play at USC? You can play at Ohio State. All of these places that are bright lights and TV and NFL.
And
I
Nebraska-
cannot. The
but, I mean,
competition's impossible.
Nebraska is still a football town. They still sell out that stadium every
course they do.
week.
Sure.
Every week. They're a huge brand. If they really wanted to get a kid out of Texas, they could do it. The problem is they don't have the coaches to do it. They don't have the head coaches. They don't have the assistant coaches. They have not made the right coaching hire since Frank Solich. And if
Right, I agree with you.
and they fired Frank Solich because they thought the program was slipping. And hindsight being 2020, if they went back and looked at it, they probably would have kept Frank Solich, and he probably would have won a national championship at Nebraska.
Yeah, maybe. At least he could have been in there in the playoff picture at the very end of the season.
Right.
They haven't been 97. They won the Orange Bowl, won the national championship back to back. That was the last time that Nebraska really turned the table.
Since Tom Osborne.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Guys, Nebraska belongs in the SEC. I'm just going to say it.
Ooh, that's a
They
good
don't belong
pick.
in the Big Ten
I
Conference.
like
They
that.
really don't. Like the SEC is
Yeah.
a perfect fit for Nebraska.
I
Grab
like
KU and Nebraska. I don't think it's going to happen, but they are a
Right.
better fit for the SEC. They'd be more successful on the football field in the SEC too. You would have lost Texas Pipeline, the culture fit. It doesn't fit the Big Ten at all. And that with the research part too. It just doesn't, man.
I would say they're a better fit for the Big 12.
Well,
Yeah,
I think
Yeah.
them and Texas and Oklahoma are better fit in the Big 12, but that's not where the money is. So that's
Right.
not realistic. Let's talk about that since we just had a guy from Oklahoma, the Jason Watkins, Hall of Fame college football in the house, member for 25 months, Moen. Let's give him a sounder. 25 months is a long time to be listening to Oklahoma stuff. Oh, yes. I love this. Jason, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Jason had his Twitter handle or whatever stolen from him, so he's had to sort of rebuild some of that stuff. But his Hall of Fame college football show is fantastic. Absolutely love him and dear to my heart. Thanks for being here tonight, Jason, and being a member for over 2 years. Is Ute still pushing for uneven revenue distribution? He's calling you out, Ute.
Of course. And that's the anti-milking proposition right here. Unequal revenue sharing is the way of the future. It is going to happen, especially when private capital and private equity gets involved. And so it is the future, guys. Like you get the viewership, you deserve to get the compensation too. I'm always going to be about that. And I think every conference should adopt it too. I just want, as an aside, guys, I want to shout out Jason too, because he put out a piece of content a couple days ago that I watched all the way through. And And I kind of felt it, guys. Like he put out a video, go check it out on his channel, Hall of Fame College Football. Is it time to hang up the headphones? And he had a real conversation about really what it's like to be like a content creator and podcaster that's real for everybody. And I thought it was real and raw, and I appreciated it so much. I just want to say thank you for putting that out, and you're not alone. And like that's the reality of being in this space and everything. So I just appreciated him being a member, and I love the content he puts out there and stuff and how real he is.
Moen?
I agree. I haven't watched the video yet, but it's I'm a subscriber to Jason's channel over there, so eventually I will get around to it this weekend, I am sure. But yeah, he puts out great content, Oklahoma-driven content. If you're an Oklahoma fan, an SEC fan, it's definitely something you should check out.
Love you, Jason. Thank you so much for being here tonight, man. We appreciate you. And the uneven revenue distribution. I used to think it would be Ohio State, Big Ten. I also thought the SEC might do that with some layers. I think those two aren't going to do it at this point. I think they'll probably end up being everybody else. I think the Big 12 definitely is going to do that if they want to stay relevant. Best of the rest conference, right, I believe, will be uneven revenue distribution. And when they do that, if that happens, so we'll have to find out. But yeah, very good. Thanks, Jason. It's great to see you tonight, and I'm glad you're doing better. I owe you a phone call, so I'll give you a call, man. We'll talk. Kenneth Maynor. What was it last time he was in here? It was Florida? I can't remember. He goes from one.
They went back to ECU, baby.
Okay,
Yeah,
ECU Pirates now.
He's
I'm
a Pirate
Gator.
Gator.
Okay, all right. Kenneth Maynor, long member of the College Football Mafia family. OG, I would say at this point. $5 super chat. You can't silo when some schools have non-conference in-state rivals they are legislatively obligated to play. Won't fly politically. So Washington tried that, didn't work. Oregon tried that, didn't work. There's other states that have tried that, it didn't work. So that on its face might be true, but when push comes to shove, in my opinion, the bigger brand is going to move along because that's what's going to promote the state more. That's my opinion. What do you guys think?
I just don't think it's really viable or practical to go silo. I think that destroys value rather than creates it in a variety of ways. Kenneth nails on this point too. It just adds more evidence that there's really no real way to make a silo. Like, really, what are you doing when you're doing that too? Like, if the SEC truly tried to break away its football, like, I mean, there's so many questions, and like, in the fact that they're not even right now the conference with the best football programs, like, how are you going to even make that argument? Like, it just makes no sense to me, this whole silo discussion. The dual silo is what I fear, and that is the breakaway. The breakaway. It's not silo. It's the breakaway of Big Ten and SEC.
I think he's talking about like Oregon State, Oregon State, Oregon, Washington State, Washington. I don't think he's so much talking about the conferences, unless I read that wrong.
I think he's talking about the SEC in particular because the SEC has Clemson, South Carolina. They have Georgia Tech, Georgia.
But tell me about these obligations at the legislative level.
Well, I think he's saying that you can't silo completely and just run 12 SEC games and cut out the SEC, the Clemson, South Carolina games, the Georgia Tech, Georgia game. But you know, you is correctly right though. If you go to a two silo thing with the Big Ten and the SEC and they schedule each other, depending on how they expand, you potentially could get around that because the SEC could take Clemson, and then Clemson, South Carolina would be an in-conference rivalry. The Big Ten could take Georgia Tech, and then Georgia Tech would be a cross-conference rivalry. The SEC could take Florida State and keep the Florida State rivalry. The Big Ten could take Miami, and you could keep the Miami, Florida State, Miami, Florida rivalries. So, we'll see.
I don't know about the legislative part of that.
Well, for example, I know Iowa. Like, for example, Iowa has to play Iowa State. They're obligated.
That's a good
for
example.
A certain number of years. I think it's 30 years was when they passed that last time. I don't know what the obligation is legislatively for Clemson, South Carolina, or Georgia Tech, Georgia.
I know, and like I
corny.
said, in realignment, they tried to do that, right? They tried to tie Cal to UCLA. They tried to they tried that has been tried. I guess in the places it already exists, fine. I'm not really talking about those. I'm talking about any of the ones that they're coming along and breaking up and putting into these bigger conferences. They're gonna defer to the bigger brands. That's all I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with Kenneth. I'm just saying that I don't think those are going to be instituted across the board now. Those are probably legacy things that happened 50, 60 years ago and have just sort of carried through. Anyway, thank you, Kenneth. I also skipped your $2 super chat. I apologize. Duke getting their P2 invite with Prime shipping. Do you have that? I'm going to let you run with that story, Moen, because I didn't bring up that link for Duke, and you don't have to do it this second. Just tell me when you got it, and I'll turn that story over to you. But it is a big story, and I don't want to lose track of it.
Right, and it's pretty basic. Duke signed a deal, giving Amazon Prime Video 3 exclusive games played at neutral sites, and they are big games. It's Duke Gonzaga, Duke Michigan. I can't remember the third. Might be Duke Kentucky.
UConn.
Yeah. UConn.
Those would be big games, man.
And they're all at neutral sites, and it's a deal that only benefits Duke. It does not benefit other ACC members.
Don't you pay 99 cents to watch it? Did I read that right? That you had to sub in to watch the games?
No way. Really?
You would have to be a subscriber of Prime Video in order to
I thought
watch
I saw a 99
games.
cent thing somewhere.
Well,
or maybe you
probably
don't. Maybe if you're not a Prime member but you want to buy it offline, it's 99 cents. Maybe that's what it was. I didn't have time to catch up on the story. I fully admit it.
Right. So I mean, it's interesting. They're doing that with neutral site games. The ACC is apparently going to allow it. Not that I think they had a choice, but
yeah, right.
This is clearly Duke flexing their media muscle. And this is also huge news for Brett Yormark, because this is exactly what Brett Yormark wants to do. He wants to separate basketball and give it its own carve out and sign its own media deal. But Prime wants Prime stuff. They want NFL. They want big time college hoops. They're going to be a major player when the Big Ten's media contract comes up for renewal.
Streamers are event specific. They're looking for big time matchups, not your normal conference game matchups too. So they're getting these 3 premier events versus big time brands. That's what they're going to invest in, guys. That's what all streamers are going to want. They're not going to want the whole package for a conference. They're going to want elite sports content that's tailored and customized as an event. That's how it's going to work.
Yeah, yes. I agree with you.
And so, like, guys, okay, I got to keep it together, because if I hear like this breakaway of like basketball and stuff and how it's going to create so much value, that's the biggest bunch of nonsense ever. Everyone can do that. That's not an innovative idea. The SEC can do it. The Big Ten can do it. Anyone can do it. Gosh, like this idea of investing in basketball is insanity, man. Like, football drives everything, 80 to 85% of everything. And you're just going to say, oh, we can get another $1 million or $2 million off basketball. Let's put all of our attention there. It's insanity, guys. It's insanity. It's not innovative. The Big 12 can do it, but so can the Big 10 and the SEC a day after. It drives me absolute nuts. But you know what? Let's give Duke their kudos here. So Duke.
Oh my gosh.
So Duke deserves this attention right here. They are flexing their muscle. And no doubt about it, their basketball muscle is strong, right? It might be a little too strong based on what I'm seeing on the screen. But hey, they do have a flex.
All right, let's just move right along. I'm going to leave that without comment. To Town Hawk, who this week called in on my live show twice. That's how important it was. Appreciate him. $2 super chat. Silos are only good for grain and tornadoes. Part 1. So I'm not sure what part 2 is, but Moen has already told us they're explosive. I didn't know that, and we need to fix that. There we go. Next one is Cody X Reviews. I don't know Cody. Do you guys know Cody?
Oh, we know Cody. Wolfpack, baby.
Who is it?
Last Friday.
I wasn't here, Johnny.
Cody extra views. I mean, that's
Okay, all right. I apologize. I don't know you, Cody. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for being a subscriber. That's probably the big one. And then a $5 super chat. Kenneth is right. NC State and the Dirty Foot Club has to cycle through ECU, App State, and Charlotte, home and aways every 6 years, not about other states. So he's talking about the Carolinas, I guess.
yeah. North Carolina State is probably obliged to have to play through Eastern Carolina, Appalachian State, and Charlotte
Okay.
every year. So, or every 6 years. Ohio State does something similar. They're not obligated, but they play through Ohio teams in a cycle of every 10 years. But yeah, I mean, if you go silo, how do you make an exception for that? Are you going to say that there's out of conference games? What's the difference then? I mean, what's the difference then if you're going to have
Why
out
can't
of
it just
conference
be
games?
a third week in August game? An
That's
exhibition.
what-
Why don't we do those?
Um,
Money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure those teams wouldn't mind it because it's about money to them. But I mean, ECU and Appalachian State have actually fielded some pretty decent football teams. So I wouldn't exactly call those exhibition games.
Well, but I'm talking about money games. If we're talking about Duke selling 3 basketball games, why can't Utah play Weber State and get money in August, make $2 million? I mean, there is a restriction. You can't do spring practices with other schools. Coach Prime has tried to do that 2 years in a row and was told no. And these schools are starved for money. So why not just let them do exhibition football games?
I guess if anybody wants to pay to watch Utah play Weber State, I mean,
I'll pay for that, baby.
Weber State people. I mean, in state that would be a game. I'm just saying it's a way to make money if that's what you're looking for. That's what I'm saying.
Wait, hold on a second. Can we get a howl here? We need to get it. Mo's got one of the best sounders out. Like this howl sounder. It's one of the best.
All right, for Cody, he is a Wolfpack guy. We'll give him the howl. I've got to add their fight song still, along with Nebraska's fight song.
And to Town Hawk gets his Jayhawk squawk.
All right, just take over. You keep going. You got all kinds of sounders. Keep going.
Oh man, I found.
Oh, we owe one to Kenneth Maynard's made some stuff here, so let's give him.
We owe like 10. Yeah.
Do what you want because a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
And let's do the Florida fight song for Kenneth Maynard. I think we owe one to. We got Jason with that one, but we owe one to Heartbreak 25, and he is a Penn State guy, so we'll do a little We Are.
Ooh, I love that. I love Penn State. Yes, you are.
And then for Skaven, we got
Go Big Red. I love that.
Did
we do a Rock Chalk Jayhawk or something like that?
We did
we did Kansas.
We did the Tawtown Hawk Jayhawk squawk.
Okay. All right.
Ryan wants to hear the Badger sound, I'm sure.
I still think that's like more like a Wolverine or something. But...
That is a Badger. A Badger and a Wolverine are related. They're both mustelids.
Oh boy, that went right over. Okay, I believe you, Moen. I give up.
And then Bulldog, Mississippi. We haven't got to it yet, but let's play a sounder for him.
We will get to you, Bulldog. I promise. I love Bulldog. He checks up on me. There we go.
Dang, Moen. That's new.
I like that one. That is new.
That's nasty.
Like that.
That's a Bulldog, and we've got one for Jason. Let's get out of these team sounders. Let's get to something a little special here.
I'm worried. I'm worried.
What do you got, Mo?
Do Ute. Do him. Don't do me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's quite pleasant, actually. It's like a gentle tug. Okay, slightly less gentle now. My udders are on fire!
This is insanity, guys.
It is Big Freaking Friday. We're going to do a quick reset. Thank you so much for being here tonight. This is where we just have a good time on Fridays, cover the news of the day and everything that's going on in the week of college sports. All the headlines, all the news. We want to encourage you guys to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment or question. Tell us we're right, tell us we're wrong, argue with us. But we're here to engage with you. That's the only reason we do this, is so that we can do this kind of laughing at the end of the week. Put a lot of hard work in. There's a bunch of member videos. If you're concerned about paying to become a member, ask the members in the comments whether it's worth your monthly subscription. I promise you we pay you back. Some of the best content on YouTube. And I just want to encourage everybody to try to do that. Moen, why don't you tell everybody how they could do super chats and posts in the first place?
Absolutely. You can do a super chat, become a member, gift a membership, do all those things by clicking the cash icon at the bottom of the chat window. We do at least 2 members videos each month. And then we are also going to be doing a members only stream coming up in May or June. So lots of member benefits. You also get access to the premium emotes here in chat. You get that little diamonds, club, heart, whatever you're set to. You get your little loyalty badge that changes every time you hit a milestone. You get free milestone pop-ups once a month that you can use too. But yeah, you just click the little cash icon and go from there. Memberships start at $2.99 a membership. So actually below what a lot of other people charge. So definitely, I think it's worth it. But if you've got gifted a membership, by all means, check out those member videos and make that decision for yourself.
That's cheaper than a Big Mac, guys.
There you go. A Big Mac. What is that now? $5 or something?
That's
I don't
cheaper.
even eat out anymore.
About $5.50, man. My kids eat it all
Are
the
you
time.
serious? $5.50
no.
for a Big Mac?
It's really about $5.50 to $6.
There's a
for Big
reason
Mac,
I don't
man.
eat out.
Serious out here.
I don't spend money on food. That's just dumb.
Yeah. I mean, it's the
I don't
same.
eat generally. Anyway.
You could get a half a gallon of gas for that. So
Oh my gosh. Don't. Okay. We don't do religion and politics, Moen. Stop it. Okay. Evil Badger Ryan Willie again. Another $5 super chat. Wild Ute, what are you smoking? I hope it's good. Nebraska would get killed in the SEC, Ute.
I'm smoking a Tarleton.
he's smoking them Tarletons. He's on that Tarleton train. It's hard to get off of.
Gosh.
Okay. So hear me out, Evil Badger here. Okay. So Nebraska, if we go back into time when they were elite, they were recruiting heavy out of Texas. Jason had a great comment too in the chat saying that the JUCO is really where they're focusing on in Texas too. So Nebraska had a pipeline for junior college players in Texas, Blinn College, some of those big time JUCO places. And that has almost completely evaporated. And when you're not playing in a state footprint anymore, you lose connection with that state. You can't sell that to recruits. Hey, we're going to come home and play in a home stadium so you can come travel and see us. It's a big deal, guys, when you lose your recruiting footprint. And that was your key number one state to recruit out of. And I told you before, Utah's feeling the impacts because of the California aspect. Utah's was so heavy into California, it almost overlapped Utah for the recruiting pool. And now it's third on Utah's list. Now it's Utah, Texas, and California. It's declining, guys. So you lose your number one recruiting pipeline because you're not associated with that state and teams in it. It's going to impact you. So if I think Nebraska got into the SEC, I think they would reestablish those pipelines, those old pipelines, and they'd actually fare better on the field with better talent. I think they'd compete better in the SEC for that reason than the Big Ten Conference.
I mean, I don't know what the population was in 1997 or 98. In Utah, it was just under 2 million. When I moved here in 97, I want to say it was like 1.8 or 1.9. We are quickly going past 3.5. And that's in what, little 25 years, 30 years, I guess. Nebraska's population population is 2 million.
Yeah. So they can't recruiting in state, right? Like it's not really
30 years ago, Nebraska was probably a little bit more. Now Utah's almost double. So it just tells you demographics is only one of the things, but Nebraska, I really worry about Nebraska. I really do. I mean, the Navy won a national championship last time when, Moen? Right? It was the 40s?
I want to say 60s.
Okay, so Navy won a national championship. People, 30 years ago, guys. 30 years ago, Go Big Red won a national championship back to back. And do kids that are playing today even know who Nebraska is? They know the end.
Not that Nebraska.
But do they know what the end represents? It could represent anything. I think long-term, and the Nebraska people, if you listen to the radio there, they see it. They look at their future in the mirror, and unless something changes, it is grim.
You know what, guys? This is complete conjecture, but if like the SEC does indeed go to Kansas and get the Jayhawks, which is not the favorite, but is plausible. We've talked about that plenty. Peek Around the Corners talked about that plenty. Wouldn't they consider going and getting Nebraska? Like, wouldn't that make
I see
sense?
the logic.
Like you're contiguous now?
I see the
And
logic.
trying to pluck Nebraska out of the Big Ten? Nebraska, as we know, was looking at Big 12, even considering it because of what's going on in the Big Ten, a couple of years ago. I know the money is insane in the Big Ten, but it's also insane in the SEC, and you might fare better culturally. I'm just saying that that's something that's never been discussed, but if you go get Kansas, then that's got to be a viable pathway to getting a team for the SEC.
Kansas,
go ahead.
Kansas has 3 million people.
Right.
So that's a whole million more than Nebraska even. And Kansas is in the Big 12. I don't know. It's possible.
It's the weak link of the Big Ten. It feels to me like Nebraska is the one school that could be altered in the Big Ten and get flipped to the SEC.
Really an interesting conversation. Moen, I'll give you the last word, and I got to get another super chat.
Yeah, I don't think Nebraska's joining the SEC. I don't think Nebraska's leaving the Big Ten. I think the Big Ten probably wouldn't fight too hard if Nebraska wanted to go. Right now, they're not very well liked because they can't get their research up and become an AAU member. But we'll see. If you want to check it out, yesterday's members only video, I did the SEC institutional value scorecard. You can see where Kansas rates on there. And I was interested. There's Big 12 programs that score above Kansas when it comes to the SEC.
That is incredible. Kenneth Maynard again, another $5 super chat. UNC, NC State, ECU, App State, Charlotte, all answer to the NC Board of Governors. That would be tricky to overcome. And in fact, I remember, was it last year or the year before, realignment has just gone on so long. There was the talk about all the ACC runs through the Carolinas, North Carolina specifically. And that is the biggest issue with blowing the ACC up and UNC going to the SEC or the Big Ten. So, I mean, all this intermingling is just crazy, right?
It's crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Bulldog, Mississippi. There he is right there. Clint, good to have you here tonight, man. Appreciate you. 5 new memberships. Moen, take it.
5 memberships from Bulldog, Mississippi.
Let's
Thank
go.
you, Bulldog, Mississippi. I appreciate that. Where's my cowbell? I gotta have more
cowbell. That's a good one.
What?
Gotta have cowbell.
I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
That's so good.
Blue Wolverine, Crisco 813, Michael D. Wolf, JJ 12381. You were all gifted memberships by my friend
Congratulations.
Cowbell. Bulldog, Mississippi, representing the Mississippi State Bulldogs of the SEC. If you're here in chat, make sure you give a big thank you and shout out to Bulldog, Mississippi. If you're watching on demand, make sure that you go ahead and drop it in the comments section and let Bulldog, Mississippi know you appreciate his kindness. And if you want to consider paying it forward, you can consider paying it forward as well. We've got a lot of new members tonight, 20 new members. Check out the latest Known Confidential, the SEC Institutional Value Scorecard, and see where the Big 12 teams rank, where the ACC teams rank when it comes to the SEC alignment.
Absolutely love it. Thank you so much, Bulldog. I appreciate you. And I know I still owe some shipping to some people, so I will get that done eventually, I hope. Let's see here. Hall of Fame College Football. There we go again. Jason Watkins, another $5 super chat. ESPN and Fox are both doing the same thing with their new platform that they are working on going direct to consumer soon. Amazon isn't alone. Amazon.
No, that's right. You've got Fox One, and you've got ESPN goes direct right now. You can get an ESPN subscription. You can do the same thing with Fox right now. They've already done it. So they did have that thing they were working on, but they ended up both abandoning it. I think because of regulations when they were going to make Venue, where it was going to be all of Fox Sports, all of ESPN Sports, and all of Turner Sports were all going to be packaged in one thing. It was called Venue, but they ended up not doing that. So, but
you want to go down the rabbit hole. Redbird Capital is a minority owner of CBS.
yes,
Brett
Paramount.
Yormark is
Redbird
the
Skydance,
media.
yes.
Okay, and so you really want to go down the rabbit hole. There's the whole idea that this is all backroom dealing, given an opportunity for the Big 12 and CBS in 2030, 31, that they want to negotiate early. In fact, there's rumors they even want to go sooner than the Big 10. Yeah, it's all about those negotiations. What do we got here? What's this poll?
Yeah, I tried to put a poll up here to see if folks in our community thinks that the SEC would actually pursue and try to poach Nebraska. So if you can see that poll, this is the first poll I've ever put up, guys.
They're cool.
Hopefully it's
I like them.
working out there for you. I don't know if it's working or not, but like, hey, let us know if it's working.
There you go, real time.
Tell us what you think seriously, because that is an interesting conversation that has not been had much.
Absolutely. Another super chat to Town Hawk. $2. He's a super OG member of the College Football Mafia family. Stop trying to make me a Southerner, Ute. Part 2.
What is with the parts to Town Hawk?
Yeah,
I love it.
wants
Give him
to
a
get
squawk.
more money for his posts. He's going $2 part.
Sorry, I think this
3
is
for
what
2.
I think this is what Ute wants to tell you, Town Hawk.
Oh boy.
Straight up, you guys are getting screwed.
I want to make a comment here, okay?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
This is speaking to KU. I've got KU relatives, several of them, okay? So I know KU people really well. I've been to KU's campus. I actually won a beer pong tournament at a fraternity at KU back a long time ago and stuff. So
Wow.
I know it well, guys. I know it well.
Yeah.
But I think that KU is truly the gentleman of the Big 12 Conference. Like, if you're thinking of all the schools, the most regal school, the most gentlemanly school, I think it's Kansas. I really do. I don't think there's too many other schools that even like pop up to get in front of KU. I think they are the true gentlemen of the Big 12. I just wanted to say that to Town Hawk and any other KU person that's listening live or after. You're the gentleman of the Big 12. So kudos to you.
Wow. Ute doesn't normally do kudos like that. That's pretty good. Kansas must be standing on top. I believe you. Becky Go Huskies, $2 super chat. UW will vote Utah in if they bring ice cream. Utah.
Ohio State will vote UW out if they vote for Utah.
Utah is not going to Big Ten. Can we just kill this? I want it. Who was
Ohio
that?
State
Ross
fears
Dellinger
Utah.
last year. It was Ross Dellinger. Who was it last year that started the whole drop? Oh, their name was drafted, and for a year I've been making fun of Utah people for saying they were the next pick for the Big Ten Conference. I'm thinking right now there is a possibility there is no more realignment and the only or consolidation even, and the only thing that happens is either a best of the rest or the Notre Dame. That's it. Utah,
and
nobody's going to the Big Ten. I'm telling you that right
here's
now.
an interesting point, and I don't want to get off topic. If there is a best of the rest, do they take BYU and Utah, or do they just take one? And if
No,
they take one,
valuable to each other.
you think
They're
they
not.
would double down? They would double down in the marketplace.
Yes.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. So to come to considerations, other considerations for that, I really don't think that you take BYU and Utah in the best of the rest. And so what does that look like? What's the purpose of that? What's the matches for that? It's a good question. I don't. I just think that BYU and Utah separated in power conferences are more valuable than the same conference. I'm really serious about that. So because you'd get an elite rivalry game as an out-of-conference game. That would be one of the it's valuable.
An elite conference game is more important, the matchup in the conference, than it would be out of conference. What does that even mean? If it's valuable out of conference, why wouldn't it be more valuable in conference?
Because you're redundant, actually, right there, because you're only getting a certain amount of eyeballs on the games. So like for the BYU Utah game, didn't even get 3 million viewers this last year.
BYU Texas Tech got 9 million, and that was probably 5 million people. BYU
exactly
fans.
Right. That's exactly the point. It's like Utah and
You
BYU.
leave them out
everybody in
because
the
they
state
bring
loves
more?
it. I think that you bring in different conference eyeballs to watch the game, and you get double the exposure. I'm serious. Like the Utah and BYU are both more valuable separate than the same conference. I really believe that.
No. Okay.
And that's the case for Arizona State. It's the case for any in-state rivalry, unless you're in the state of Texas, Florida, or California with massive populations. It's hard to hear. No. I know. I understand.
Oh, well, you better be careful what you say, because right now BYU is the ultimate pick to get into a different conference than Utah is.
Well, the cultural problem, right?
Okay, so so why don't you just say it out loud then? Why don't you say it's the bias against the Mormon Church? Let's go. You want to say okay? So say it. So say that instead of hitting around on out of conference games and conference games. If you're gonna say it, say it. I want to hear your 15-minute spiel.
I mean, it's it's the same reason why BYU didn't get in the Pac-12, guys.
Okay.
It's the same exact logic here.
They are completely different situations.
How?
Completely different situations.
How are they different situations? Why can't BYU get in the Big Ten? Why is not BYU ever mentioned to get in the Big Ten? Why?
For one thing, there's no reason for them to go to the Big Ten conference. They do not align with anybody in the Big Ten conference.
Culturally, they don't align. Exactly.
But wait a second. We're talking about a third conference that's only existence would be to play football. They're not getting together for cultural alignment. They're not getting together for any of this other nonsense like the Big Ten, research dollars, none of that. They're getting together to play football and draw dollars and eyeballs. That's it.
Well, yeah, then BYU would certainly be included, I think, in that.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that.
And if that's the case and stuff,
distinction matters.
I think that you're right, though. I think that there's bias against the Mormon Church and the Mormons for these things. Like their cultural bias is real, Nate. Like you know that. I know that. That's the
of course I know that.
Right?
Well,
and that is the reason for the block in the Big Ten and the SEC. Like it is what it is, right?
I don't think the SEC is blocking because of that.
I don't know. Yeah, like it's true. I mean, like it's like something that is not spoken of, but like it's absolutely true.
I think you say that about the Big Ten. I don't know where you're coming from on. You know where the two biggest states east of the Rockies, LDS Church, Georgia and Florida. That's the heart of SEC country. So saying they're just not an option for the SEC is, in my opinion, a ridiculous take. There's no facts to back that up. The Big
My
Ten,
understanding is SEC realignments, just like the Big Ten, they want AAU research schools that are public university flagships.
Where has that been published?
No, I think that's common knowledge.
I know.
Look at all the
SEC schools. How many are AAU?
UVA?
How many? Okay, hold on. Tell me right now, how many schools are AAU in the SEC?
You've got Texas A&M.
Okay.
You've got Vandy. You've got.
There's 16
Florida.
teams.
You've got. I can't name them all. There's 3.
Oh, that's because there's not that many. There's not. It's not like there's 16 teams that are AAU.
True. Yes.
They
want that. They want that. Texas too. Yeah, Texas.
There's Texas A&M, Missouri, Vanderbilt, Florida. I think that is the only.
The LSU is not
schools. Yeah, but I mean, Georgia is very close to becoming AAU.
All I'm saying is anything that is a best of the rest conference, something that Utah and BYU will both be options to get in, is not going to align for anything else but for football and basketball and eyeballs. It's a money conference. That's it.
That's just not legacy how conferences have been made before, though, right?
I know, but we're inventing something new. This is survival we're talking about here.
If that, we even put out a video yesterday, this Rock and Ran video that we put out. Both BYU and Utah made the best of the rest 16 because
that's what I just
some of the 16. Yes, because truly viewership on a standalone basis.
So what are we talking about then?
I think that at the end of the day that you're looking at market redundancy too. And I even mentioned in that video too, where
4
you
million
really need
people
to
going to be in 5 years in the state of Utah. 4 million.
I know. Like
That's a
but the
lot.
question is, do you double dip Utah or do you double dip a state when you're not even in Arizona?
You're not, because Utah is a state school. BYU is a national international school. You're not
Right.
double dipping in the same market.
Well,
You do a poll. You go and talk to a bunch of creators and say, of the two brands, which is the bigger brand? Which is the one most people identify with? And people
BYU's
are
a
going to
great
say
brand.
BYU. So if that's the case, then
Right.
what are we talking? I just circle back. What are we talking about?
We're talking
If
about
it's
cultural
just
fits,
about-
Nate. It's going back to that.
Football
That
is
it.
not cultural. No, this
It
best
is
of our
cultural
conference
fits.
has
You like it
nothing-
or not,
no.
it is, man. Well, that's where we disagree.
Yeah,
Because I think
don't
BYU is a
think-
great brand. I do. I think BYU is a great brand.
Okay.
Like the problem is that it's the same issue as the Pac-12 issue with BYU.
It is
It's the same
not.
thing.
Pac-12 is dead. Pac-12 died for a reason.
But why didn't BYU get in the Pac-12? That's what I'm saying. Why? What's the reason
No,
for that?
I'm admitting that. I totally know the politics why they didn't get. I'm saying the Pac-12 died because of those attitudes. If the Pac-12 had survived and the Big 12 had died, then you could throw it in my face all day long and say, "See, we were right. Utah made the right decision." But what happened?
I'm saying
guys-
BYU's a great
you guys-
brand. I'm not throwing anything in your face at all, man. I don't even know why you're getting offended by this.
Well,
BYU's
I'm
a
not
great
offended.
brand.
We circled back twice now. You said if it was a football conference, they would be in, and then you throw it turn 50 degrees, completely turn around 180 degrees, and say, but they're not going to get in because it's not a cultural fit. And I'm saying a cultural fit in what? A new conference has no culture. So what is the fit you're talking about?
I mean, flagship research institutions. That's what I'm talking about. If you want to
yeah.
boil it down simple
they don't
like
play
that,
football. They don't play football. They don't make money.
well, that's why it's crazy why Virginia is so hotly wanted by the SEC.
And yet they're
Big
not
Ten.
anywhere. They're wanted.
They're going to be in one of them.
Right. Oh gosh, I don't think so.
Yeah, they will.
Okay.
You know what? Like,
If
yeah,
they
that's
were
just
that
the-
valuable, they would have moved all along. If Utah was that valuable, they'd be in the Big Ten. What has changed from 3 years ago to in 4 years? Why would
Amazon.
in what world would these
Amazon.
brands that didn't make it into these other conferences?
Amazon and success, and to get every single region that you want.
UNC
And to have better
successful?
travel partners too for your Western partners. That's the Big
How
Ten's
is-
logic.
BYU and Utah, what are you talking about travel partners? You can go anywhere with those two schools. So I don't know, what at the end of the day, I'm just going to say this, and then you guys flame me, everything else. Ute and I we're friends, right? We do this. We
Right.
get passionate, these things. But I'm telling you right now, Ute already said it out loud. The bias against the Mormon church is real out in the world.
Yes, I agree.
And BYU has to get over that hurdle. I'm not saying it's not a hurdle, but I am saying the last 3 years and their entire legacy is shown when they've been given the opportunity to step up and win. They have given the money to do it, and they're winning and showing everybody what it was all along. That's all I'm saying. Come back to me in 4 years and tell me, see, BYU was a failure. I don't think that's going to be the case.
No, BYU's been very successful in the Big 12. I'm not even arguing that at all.
Oh, I know you're
I'm
not.
just
I know
saying that
you're
there's like it's interesting though to diagnose this. And I know we're getting long on this and stuff, but it's a very interesting conversation. And we agree, Nate, that
know.
bias exists. And one of the things that blocked BYU from the Big 12 in the past was Texas. Because Texas wanted flagship AAU research institutions. Texas is now in the SEC.
Yes.
And so I'm telling you that exists, and these are real hurdles. We agree why. I don't think it's fair, but it exists and it's reality. And so that's why I don't think that BYU can jump into either one of those because of that block. Fair or not, that's just how I see it.
Well, I'm not even advocating they're going to the Big Ten. I've never said that, ever. And the SEC, I don't think that is going to happen either. I continue to we're talking about football and basketball making money, and that would be a best of the rest. Some other third conference that is going to be the one that survives. Otherwise, it's going to be the SEC and the Big Ten and nobody else.
Right.
It'll
be interesting.
Let me say it a different way. If third conference doesn't get made, And Carolina, Virginia, Clemson, Florida State, and Miami make it into the SEC and the Big Ten. Let's just say those schools move. Everybody else is going to be an orphan. They're going to be playing basketball, or they're going to be playing in a different division of college football. There's simply no way to keep up. So the only way that those guys hang around, the rest, and you did the video with Rock yesterday. It was fantastic. 16 brands, 2 conferences. Who would you pick just for eyeballs, just to play football and make money and go out there and compete with the Big Ten and the SEC? BYU has to be in that conference. That's
no doubt about it. If there's no other considerations, that's 100% correct. And that's the question though. Will there be other considerations? And if there's not, it's no. And if there is, then it's not fair. No way, no how. It really isn't. But that's how it is, right? And and that dynamic exists, and people don't talk about it. It's not fair, but it is what it is.
It's not as bad as it was 20 years ago, though.
No, and being in the Big 12 has helped
quite a bit. Yes, it has.
Being in the Big 12 has, and winning in the Big 12 has definitely helped it. But that's why, when we talk about these things, why BYU is not mentioned to go to the Big 10 or the SEC is because of that block right there.
Well, we can end there. I agree with you. Yeah. But just so everybody knows, our very first video, it was my third video, I think. Ute and I started with this conversation.
Yeah,
and I can't remember how long we went, but it was just this is what you do. BYU and Utah, that's just where we go. All right, Moen, I've gone long. I know you got other stuff you wanted to get to tonight. I got to get to my wife, but I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Thank you so much for being on Big Freaking Friday on the College Football Mafia Show. It's stuff that you can tell we're extremely passionate about. Hit me up with a DM if I'm stepping out and you're doing a super chat. Moen's tracking those. I don't have time to stick around to take them, but I really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you again for covering me while I was not feeling well for a couple weeks. And this next month and a half to 2 months are going to be amazing on this channel because there's so much going on in college football. And I'm just going to tell everybody the very next news item you want to watch is the Nebraska versus CSC lawsuit. Where do we go? Because if the CSC loses that Nebraska lawsuit, you might as well just throw out any type of restrictions on NIL and MMR and just open up the checkbook. Let's just start buying players, and it's going to change all of college football and basketball. So thank you so much, Moen. Thanks for your time. Thanks for all you do. Ute, I love you.
Take care.
We need to get together for lunch. It's been a long time. We need to do that. I got to give you something anyway. And everybody else, check me out on Tuesday night. We'll have another call-in show, and you guys can yell at me for everything I've just said right now. But I appreciate you.
It's real talk, brother. It's truth. Real talk.
I know it is truth. We'll talk to you guys later. Go Cougs. Peace out.
Moan.
There we go. Yeah, I don't know who started that conversation, but fuck that guy. I just love stirring the shit and just sitting back and watching you guys argue for 5 minutes over who's getting in and who's not getting in.
Dude, this is the situation that's been created, right? Unfortunately, is you're basically just clawing, trying to get up to higher ground, right? And it's just desperate, man. It really is. And so I totally understand it. And it's true what Nate said too. BYU has hurdles against it that other schools don't. Fair,
absolutely.
It's not fair, man. It's true. It's absolutely true. And they have the brands to be in the Power 2. They do. But they've got these hurdles too that nobody else has to deal with. And that's just the dynamic with them. So it's just a different animal.
Blue Wolverine. Utah kind of already moved to the Big Ten.
Look, I didn't even talk about Utah Big Ten tonight. I didn't even bring it up. And Kyle Whittingham's there. Celeste Moa. Thanks for taking Celeste Moa. That really stung. And everybody else that you took there. So Michigan, kudos. You got a good group of guys and stuff. We'll see if you can get to the playoff before Utah, because I don't think you can.
Ute versus Bomber dual winner gets in Super League. It's the best of the rest league. It's the best of the rest. Becky says, all I did was ask for ice cream. I know. I stirred it up. I will fully admit it. I was a shit stirrer on that one.
Look, let me just tell you something, all right? I was looking here at the comments, and I was in the comments before we started going on with that, and there's over 100 comments since that back and forth.
I know, it's great. I
have no idea what's said in that
I can
thing. So
kick back and just watch you guys fight it out and drink a little whiskey. Jason says Ute is really full of shit. He just doesn't want to play y'all anymore, Bomber. I think there's no doubt.
Guys, go ahead, Moan. Go ahead.
You don't
your
really
opine on this.
You don't want to play BYU as an equal. Let's be honest. You've gotten used to playing BYU as a superior. You were in the Pac-12. They were in the Mountain West Independent or Western Athletic Conference Independent. You use that superiority over them, and you enjoyed that. And you want to get back to that situation where you will play BYU every year, but you will be superior based off of your conference.
It's not true. I mean, it's partially true.
You're going to lie to all these people. We got 173 people, and you're going to lie to all these people.
It's partially true, but can I tell you a dirty secret?
Go ahead.
Seriously, that I've never told anyone before here.
Okay, if this involves murder and prostitutes, you just all right.
Look, BYU adds to Utah's value for the Big Ten. And so one of the strengths for Utah is getting BYU eyeballs watching Utah content and the Holy War game non-conference. And so a must for Utah, if it ever got in the Big Ten, would be playing the Holy War as non-conference. So they could sell that game and add value and stuff and get BYU national eyeballs watching Utah games out of hate. I'm serious. And if you want any evidence for that, why did so many Pac-12 teams play BYU after Utah played them every year? USC was playing them. Washington was playing them. Everybody was playing BYU to do the same thing. And the Big Ten has no linkage to BYU at all. And one of the things about Utah is you actually get the BYU eyeballs watching Big Ten content because of Utah. So while I love the idea of thumbing nose, but that's just not it's not really the
Utah gets access to all the Big Ten markets and recruiting grounds and recruits better than BYU and becomes a better football program than BYU.
100%.
Nothing against BYU, but when Utah was rolling, Utah was a better football program than BYU. When Utah was in the Pac-12, Utah was a better football program than BYU was during that time.
Don't tell anyone this dirty secret. I try to keep that to myself, but I've had a pretty stiff cocktail tonight, okay?
Yeah. And that's a dirty secret. This is, boy, that's a Utah dirty secret,
That's a secret right there.
Yeah, it's a Salt Lake City dirty secret. Bomber, big wanted Virginia and North Carolina when they got Rutgers and Maryland. They are wanted, but said no. That was absolutely true. North Carolina and Virginia were the original expansion targets, and then they took Rutgers and Maryland.
Yeah.
100% true.
Wants UVA bad, and so does SEC. They want large states, public flagships.
I put this in the chat. The SEC has to get into North Carolina and Virginia regardless. If the Big Ten took North Carolina and Virginia, the SEC is going to have to take Virginia Tech and North Carolina State. And it's not like those are bad schools. I mean, Virginia Tech is a good research school. North Carolina State does like $700 million in research. They're on the cusp of getting AAU. So, I mean, I just think that's non-negotiable for the SEC. They have to get into those two states. Tawtown Hawk, Utah constantly wanting out, BYU happy to be in, makes me want to Provo for a game and eat a cougar tail, then crop dust Utah on the way to airport. Finn. So I guess that's part 3. So that's Finn.
After all the nice stuff I said about KU earlier, about being the gentleman of the Big 12, then I see some shade like this come to Town Hawk. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. BYU, They are who they are, and like it is what it is. It
There you
is
go.
what it is.
It be what it be. Let's do some sounders.
We're not just doing this for money. We're doing it for a shitload of money.
There you go.
One point though, okay. So
Okay, go ahead.
Here's something to consideration to Town Hawk. So given what we just talked about, Nate and I, and stuff about the hurdles for BYU getting into the Big Ten and the SEC that nobody else has, BYU has got nowhere to go. Like, truly nowhere to go. They have no chance to go really anywhere else. Maybe a best of rest if that ever formed. Maybe like Nate said, if it's football only, maybe you jump into something like that. But getting into the SEC or the Big Ten, in my point of view, it's impossible. And so there's nothing to push on. There's nowhere to go. You're basically in the best place you can be. And so they realize that. They know that. So they're trying to make buddies and friends. And so that's why they act the way they do at the Big 12. And so that's creating some of the dynamic here too. Like it or not. I get like it's frustrating as Utah wants to get out. I get it.
But Town Hawk, let's be honest here. Kansas,
Yeah.
they're doing it behind the scenes. They're doing it the right way. I will say that for Kansas. They're doing it the right way, but Kansas wants out of the Big 12 too. Speaking of Nate and you, here's one for them.
That's all right, man. Guess what? I was a little bit wasted my own self. You know? Okay?
Man, you two are regular old Three Musketeers.
Yeah, we are. Touche.
Yeah, 2 Utes.
What is a Ute?
There we go.
Nice.
Here we go. They live.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Family entertainment? Bollocks. What they want is filth. People doing things to each other with chainsaws during Tupperware parties. Babysitters being stabbed with knitting needles by gay presidential candidates. Vigilante groups strangling chickens.
And here we go. We'll do this one.
Note to self. Remember, no matter how bad life gets, there is always beer.
And a little Conan.
Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of the women.
I think we got enough sounders there.
Oh my gosh.
Moving on, we didn't even get to touch this topic, but it's in the title and I want to bring it up. Private equity deal for Big 12. Redbird Capital, in conjunction with Weatherford Capital, has put together a deal to be the exclusive private equity company of the Big 12, which allows the Big 12 to draw $12.5 million for a loan for the Big 12's operations. It also allows each school to draw up to $30 million in loans, should they declare or decide that they need that. You are in the Big 12. You're probably not going to be one of these teams. You already signed your own private equity deal outside of this. But what do you think about this private equity deal between Redbird and Weatherford? And we can get into all the connections. Yes, Redbird Skydance is a subsidiary, or is, I should say, Paramount is a subsidiary of Redbird Skydance. Weatherford is connected to USF. But the guy from Weatherford played for FSU. So we'll get all those connections out there. We can do the conspiracy theory where we put up the map that this is going to ensure USF gets into the Big 12. This is going to ensure that the Paramount creates a Big 12 network. You can jump through all those hoops. I don't know that I would go that far. Maybe if I have a little more whiskey and, get ramped up, I might be able to eventually say, I see where you're going with this, but let's just talk about it. The private equity deal. Do you think this was a good deal for the Big 12?
I think it's a fantastic deal for the Big 12. I really do, for the relationship and getting in the door with private capital, establishing those relationships for future deals. Where a lot of the schools in the Big 12 utilize this quasi credit line, maybe not. It's not like that. It's like 25 to 30 million per school that you can draw on if you need to. It's kind of like a bridge line of credit and everything. So it's not game changing as far as like the financials go, but it's about the relationships and the future deals you might make. So I love that. It's genius. And it's nice to have flexibility too, in case you need to draw on this line of credit if you have to pay something out and you don't have the cash for it and stuff. It's interesting, the payback and how it's going to get paid back. It's not a true loan. It's basically splitting your future revenues through the conference. That's how you pay this back. And so you're kind of, I don't want to get too jargony and stuff, but whatever you're expecting to earn in the future, you just wouldn't get as much money as you were expecting because some of that would pay off if you borrowed on this. So it's not like a loan where you're just paying like interest and stuff. It's structured in a different way. That's how all college athletic line of credits and everything are going to look down the line. I've done private equity video about that in the past before. Go check it out. But I like it for the relationship part. And like the deal itself isn't groundbreaking, but the relationship could be.
Yeah, I don't know. Especially a lot of the cheerleading I've heard from it. From the same people who were lamenting the Big Ten's UC public capital deal, suddenly cheering for a private capital deal, which is essentially a payday loan. That's what it is. It's a payday loan. Now, I mean, there are schools that are in the Big 12 that probably do need that money. Iowa State, for example, probably does need that to get their football program reestablished after losing Matt Campbell.
Right.
Houston, I know, has some money. What about if you're the University of Cincinnati right now? I don't know. I don't know that it's necessarily a bad deal. I just don't think it's a great deal.
I mean, I think you need to reframe the way you're thinking about it. Like, think about like throughout the calendar year, there's expenses that you have like per month, right?
Sure.
Salaries, payroll and stuff. Well, the media rights usually come in more chunks. So it's lumpy ways that you're getting your revenue, your money in. So this is just a way to kind of smooth over those months that you're not getting the revenue. It's just going to be a working capital line of credit used like that, not for necessarily future NIL investment, just to smooth your expenses. And so from that perspective, it makes sense, man. Like, it just gives you a little bit more flexibility, but it's not game changing. It's not going to buy players. You're not going to do that kind of stuff with this.
You don't think anybody's going to go and take a bridge loan to hit the $22.5 million revenue cap?
No.
Okay.
I don't. To hit the revenue cap, like, no.
Let's say they don't have the means to hit $22.5 million. They don't have the athletic department revenue. Their media revenue share is only what, 30.6 per team. So
this year probably,
yeah, that's $22.5 million. If you want to be competitive, everybody's going to have to be maxed out on that revenue. I'm sure Texas Tech is maxed on that revenue plus NIL.
Right.
I'm sure BYU is as well, and Utah is probably along the same lines. But if you're a smaller school, like say a Cincinnati, that you can't get to that 22.5, but you think, I think it's more likely to be used as a single season push. I think
you're going to really screw yourself if you do that.
I know, but look, people do it all the time. It's the American way to get in over your head on credit. It's,
So what you'd say is like, hey, we're gonna tap this whole $25 million to get some players, and that's going to cost us our future revenue streams. If it was 30 million coming in the future, all of a sudden that's going to be 20 or 20 million. Like, they're going to take their cut with a fee on top of that. It's a very expensive way to borrow, and so you're killing yourself. Not just like in a year, you're killing yourself. Like, so you can't actually afford to do that unless you've got unless you're expecting some donor to come out of nowhere and pay it off.
Well, you could issue a bond to pay it off as well.
Perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, you could issue bonds to pay it off. But I mean, for example, if you're West Virginia and Rich Rod has got you rolling and you do 9-3 this year, let's say West Virginia comes back, Rich Rod's got his guys in place, they do 9-3. The next year he wants to go out and get a couple recruits, but they don't have the same amount of money to put towards a revenue cap. Does he go and say, let's take 5 to 7 million of this money, go get those guys with the chance of potentially making the playoffs this season, therefore increasing our value.
As long as you have the money expected within the next few months coming in because of revenue choppiness.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You would have
cannot
to
just leverage it out, man. Like you.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Because
You'd have to make
yourself.
the playoffs to make your playoff money.
Yeah. It might be used like that, but that is an insane way to use it, and that's going to kill you as a program to do it. It's reducing your future media rights.
Right.
And like they're already way behind.
But if you're banking it on making the playoffs and getting playoff money.
Do you think that West Virginia would be $20 million?
I'm just using West Virginia as an example. And I'm not saying that they take all 20 million, but I'm saying maybe take 3, maybe take 5, maybe take 7 million. You have a 9-3 season. You think that 3, 5, 7 million might be enough to get you to a 11-2 season with a playoff berth? Get that playoff money. Maybe go on a run in the playoffs. Maybe get a win. Get more playoff money.
I guess it's very high risk and moderate reward. Like seriously, that's such a risky play. I can see schools maybe try that, but they're going to get burned a lot on that. And if that's the reason that the schools are thinking about using it is just to grab a couple players in like the NIL portal because they think they can make a playoff run, they're going to get burned bad because they're not going to make as much in the future years because they're going to pay off their prior sins by doing that. Like, dude, that's just not the way to grow at all. Like, that's going to kill your future program to do it.
I agree, but if you're looking at it from a short-term perspective, which, let's face it, when you borrow against a line of credit, that's what you're looking at. Most people are saying, well, I can't afford this now, but A, B, and C are going to happen, and I'm going to afford this. If you're a small school, you think you can make a playoff push, you do this, you do make the playoffs. Let's say you make the playoffs, you use that playoff money to pay back that money, and now you've elevated your program.
Yes, in that situation, it could work. But what happens 9 out of 10 times when you don't make the playoff?
You're right. You're right. You never tell. I'm not disagreeing with you. It's a gamble. It is.
That's way too much risk for these schools to take.
It's a gamble. It's a gamble. I'm not disagreeing with you.
But I like the deal for future partnerships. I mean, I don't think Utah is going to tap this, which they already have their own private equity deal. Half the teams in the Big 12 might tap it for uneven revenues coming in with their expenses. And so that's how it should be used for short-term purposes, not long-term NIL purposes. No way.
Jason brings up, why not just get a rich donor to give you that loan for like 3%? If they're a rich donor, they wouldn't even give you a loan. They just give it to you as a gift. But I mean, do you have a rich donor? Do you have a rich donor that's going to be able to do that for you?
Or you can do the Utah way, which is actually bring your rich donors in as equity partners / owners in your athletic department. It's even better than having a loan at 3%. Is like you get future Utah-based revenue coming in because you're a partial owner. That's how Utah structured their private equity deal. They've got the biggest boosters owning part of the future rights to Utah football, basketball, and women's gymnastics. That's how it is.
Kenneth Maynard with the $5 super chat. Feinbaum clowned Yormark and called him a huckster commissioner. Completely trashed the Big 12 as a desperate conference. I cannot believe that Paul Feinbaum would say something so controversial.
The Big 12 is going to be the remaining third conference, guys. Like we've talked about best of the rest a lot. There's really not enough bang for the buck, especially with Florida State, Miami, and Clemson going to be going to the Power 2. Like there's no way it makes sense to create a best of the rest with those top brands gone. There's just no way it makes sense. The Big 12 will be in a position to poach the best remaining. And the Big 12, and I've got 95% confidence that this is going to happen, that the Big 12 will be the third best conference. So he better shut his freaking mouth, man, because we got a Power 3 coming soon.
Let's say, for instance, the Big 12 is not the third conference. Let's say Florida State, Miami, and Clemson can't or don't want to get into the Power 2. That they think they can put together a 12-team conference, best of the rest, with unequal revenue share, that gets them to where they can compete with the Big 10 and the SEC, at least those top brands. Then what? I mean, we get into that question again of who is going to be in that conference. But if you do have Miami, maybe you add Notre Dame as an independent. Maybe that's another way to get that money up for that conference. But what if the Big 12's not that third conference? What if it is a best of the rest? A legitimate best of the rest?
That would be surprising because that would mean that there wasn't material realignment that happened, right? If material realignment happens, there will not be a best of the rest. And we expect and almost sure of more realignment coming. Right, Moan? Like, what's your confidence that there was some realignment in the Big Ten and the SEC over the next 5 years?
Here's the thing. Let's say the Big Ten does get Notre Dame, and Notre Dame says we want Stanford, and they just say, okay, we're going to stop. It's accretive at this point. We've got Notre Dame. They grease the skid for Stanford. They raise everybody's money. Okay. Let's not expand beyond 20. And the SEC goes and gets North Carolina and Virginia, and they say, okay, we've expanded our footprint to where we want to be. We're not expanding anymore. We'll stick at 18. Now, Florida State, Miami, and Clemson, and I'm not saying this is going to happen. We're working with hypotheticals here.
Right.
Florida State, Clemson, and Miami say, okay, we've got brand value. Let's go get the best brands that are available. Let's make a smaller conference. Let's say 10 or 12, and we'll have unequal revenue sharing, and we'll cut our own media deal with a streamer to get overpaid that way. What do you, I mean, obviously you're taking from the Big 12. You're going to take some brands from the Big 12. Yes. You're going to take some leftover brands from the ACC. You're probably going to take like a North Carolina State, maybe a Duke, Virginia Tech, Florida State, Clemson, Miami, Kansas, one of the Arizona schools at least. You're probably going to take one of the Texas schools as well. You want to get into Texas. But I mean, who's to say the Big 12 is super secure right now? I mean, I think schools right now are spending a lot of money to make themselves an attractive candidate for the Power 2, but I think they're also keeping in the back of their mind that if they don't make the Power 2, because Louisville is an interesting case study for me. Look at how much money Louisville is spending right now. They're spending a lot of money, and I don't necessarily think they're a Power 2 candidate. I don't think the SEC is going to take them and double up in Kentucky. I don't think the Big Ten's interested in them from a research perspective. I think Louisville might be spending all that money to make sure they get into that best of the rest.
Third conference.
Third conference. But I mean, are they spending that kind of money to get into the Big 12?
Maybe.
I mean, that's
because what's the alternative?
Well, I mean, that's
you stay in the ACC and you backfill with USF.
Well, I think the question is, do you go to does the Big 12 make you enough money to spend the money you're doing right now? You're talking about spending this kind of money for short term. Louisville is spending money they don't have right now.
Well, let me just refer you to a friend over at Oregon State to get their take on that one. Oregon State's been decimated by realignment. They're never going to recover. It's not the same. It won't ever be the same. There's no hope. Fans are just completely downtrodden. It's killed the brand. That's what your future looks like if you don't get in the Big 12 if you're Louisville. The ACC's done.
You're getting into the Big 12 if you're Louisville. You don't need to spend this kind of money to get into the Big 12.
It's positioning, man.
I mean, if
Make
you're
sure
going
at all costs.
Yeah, but if you're going to buy a Ford Focus, you don't show up with $80,000.
Dude, the Big 12's not a Ford Focus mode.
Okay, if you're going to show up for some midline.
Come on, man.
If you're going to buy a Ford F-150. You don't show up with 80 grand. It's not necessary. So why is Louisville spending all this money? I don't think they have a shot at the SEC. I don't think they have a shot at the Big Ten.
No.
So why are they spending such money? If
to
not,
make sure they're in the third conference,
to make sure they're in the best of the rest. Maybe they're trying to signal to Miami if this doesn't go Florida State, Clemson, and Miami's way. Maybe they're signaling, hey, we're spending to be a member of a best of the rest conference.
Well, to add on to your idea, which, okay, I'm following your idea and stuff, and it could be viable if that certainly happened, and Florida State's still in the ACC with Miami and Clemson, you could create a best of the rest. And it goes back to the private capital conversations that we're having, that the ACC schools and the Big 12 schools were having on the down low with private equity. Remember that? When Florida State was part of that, they brought it in other schools in the Big 12 and the ACC. That's the kind of scenario where you're basically kind of cultivating this third conference. And those are the teams that be in it. You think like the teams that were invited, that were involved in that.
Right. But you mentioned, and I agree with you, I put this up there on Twitter as well, a Big 12 ACC merger doesn't work.
No.
A lot of people are out there saying just merge the two. It doesn't work. There's too much. There's too many teams there, not to insult anybody, that just don't make enough money or don't have enough value. Let's put it that way. They don't have enough value to maximize the brand. So if you go get your 12 best, and let's say you do keep Miami, Clemson, and Florida State, that's a hell of a nucleus to build around for a conference. You say you add Virginia Tech, you add North Carolina State, you get a North Carolina, you add Duke. That's a basketball program. I know it's not huge, but if you're doing unequal revenue share, you might be able to make that claim. Louisville is probably one of those teams that's out there on the periphery right now.
Yeah, they're a bubble.
They're a bubble team.
Yeah.
So I think the only logical thing that makes sense to me is you're either competing for a Power 2 slot, which I don't think Louisville believes they have. I see someone in the chat mention they could be an outside hope for the SEC. Maybe, but I just don't think the SEC wants to double down in the Kentucky marketplace. They want to get into new markets. They want in North Carolina and Virginia. So, I mean, it raises a question to me, what is Louisville spending this kind of money for? And if we can't get into Power 2, we've got to get into this best of the rest. I just
whatever
don't think
it looks like. Yeah, whatever it looks like. And one thing's for certain to me is that if I don't see the ACC lasting. Like if Carolina,
I don't either see it lasting as a power conference.
Right.
But I'm saying you would have schools like Boston College, Syracuse, Wake Forest. You would have those schools left.
Cal,
behind. Georgia Tech,
SMU,
Stanford, Cal. Well, you might take SMU might get to come along as that Texas team.
TCU is going to get over them in that market.
They might, but I don't know.
I think TCU and Texas Tech might both get in.
But again, it comes down to spending money. You see how much money Louisville's spending. How much money will SMU spend to make sure that they're one of those teams that gets over the hump? I mean, got to look at teams like Utah and Kansas as well. Utah signs this private equity deal. If Utah thinks that, I'm sure Utah believes they have an outside shot at the Big Ten, but if that goes away and the Big 12 is going to have some teams poached to make this best of the rest, you can't tell me Utah is not thinking long-term and saying, let's make sure we're one of the teams that makes it in.
Moan, let me ask you this question, okay? And just like on this point, say that Florida State, Clemson, and Miami start this, or Florida State's the ringleader, which would have to happen. Like, who in the Big 12 do you first pursue?
That's a great question. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you, but I mean, Kansas is spending money. We know Kansas is. We know Utah is. Texas Tech is spending money. Is Texas Tech going to get left behind?
No.
Or is Texas Tech spending that money saying, let's raise our profile and make sure that when this best of the rest comes around and they need a school in Texas, it's Texas Tech? Because I mean, there's only so many teams you can add. You can't have a 16-team best of the rest.
I think you can, and you might need to, depending on the geography.
I just think there's 4 schools there that just don't bring enough value.
I mean, like really, when you get outside of the big 3, everybody else is like much more in range, right? There's no more outliers outside of Colorado, and we know with Prime in that situation, that's not really a long-term play. But like there's 3 big brands that yield a lot more ratings than anybody else. Then there's a lot of teams that are on the upper crest, but they're not at that level. And there's just a lot of teams to choose from then for a best of the rest.
Right. And I think you get down to 12 teams, you can have unequal revenue sharing with whatever deal they cut that gets those 3 top schools, Florida State, Miami, and Clemson, in range. They're not going to be near the Big Ten. They're not going to be at the Big Ten level, at the SEC level, depending on what happens with Notre Dame. If you can get Notre Dame to commit to that conference, that's going to help you tremendously. But if you can't, I just don't think that there's enough value at the top to bring along another 14, 13 teams along, because I don't think they bring enough value.
I gotta show this. It's right on top.
Okay.
Like I prepared this for the video with Rock and Rant. It's with the football brand power index, right? And how good your brand is and everything based on your name. I have the list of all the schools in the Big 12 and the ACC stacked. And like you can get an idea of like if you're just trying to construct a football conference based on what the TV data says, you'd want these teams. There'd be more complexity in that too, I think, because I don't know if you'd want to double dip in markets or you'd be selective about that. So there'd be more strategy with it, but it's really relevant to this conversation. So one sec, let me get pulled up here. Okay. All right, so let me get this so it's easy to see here. Okay. All right. Sorry, guys. It's a Google Doc here, but like you can look at kind of some of the stuff that the analysis, the video that Rock and I put together. But these are the brands and like the brand index right here. Can you see this at all, Moan, or do I need to zoom?
Yeah, I can see it.
Let me see if I can zoom in 150. Okay. So there are 33 teams in the Big 12 of the ACC.
Sure.
Okay. And the brand index that Rock and Rand and I created, that's based on multiple years of Nielsen data. How much do you drive just based on your name when AP ranking, conference affiliation, and all the factors are washed out? Florida State is the best brand on the board.
Absolutely.
2.0 rate, 2.0 brand index score. Okay. Miami second, actually. They've eclipsed Clemson because Clemson's actually a very declining brand over the last 2 years. Out of the Trevor Lawrence era, they're declining and declining. It's crazy to see it, actually. So Miami second, Colorado with Coach Prime's third, Clemson's fourth, BYU's fifth, 1.35. That's going to be the top Big 12 score once Colorado and once Prime leaves Colorado. BYU will be the biggest draw in the Big 12 viewership wise. I don't think that's going to surprise anybody either. It is what it is. And then Georgia Tech and Utah right there, 1.3 brands. TCU right there. Virginia Tech actually expect this to lift a little bit, but like it's not great, but they're still kind of in there. Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, North Carolina. But when you're trying to construct a 16-team best of the rest, this is one way to think about it, right? Like what are the top draws?
Let's go in here. Look at this. And this is why I brought it up earlier, not just to stir shit. But you have BYU at 1.35. You have Utah at 1.3. If you're making a best of the rest, why would you double down? And I understand BYU's a national brand, and I'm not saying they're not, but it's a market thing. Do you say, give me BYU or give me Utah?
You could come to that. It could certainly come to that. And then you'd have to make decisions like, again, the cultural conversation we had, and you'd have to make the decision there. So I'm not saying that it might not come to that. I mean, these are top 7 brands in all of the Big 12 and the ACC, but still, if you were saying we could only have one school from each market, the question you ask is like, does culture matter? And if it doesn't matter,
look, there's places that you're going to be Florida. You're okay to double up on the population in Florida. Plus, you've got your two biggest brands there, Florida State and Miami. That makes sense. Texas, you can probably double up in Texas. The SEC
these
is
are
doing it
in
with Texas and A&M.
in Georgia, in like TCU's in with. I think you would go with both of them, Texas Tech and TCU. Virginia's in. Maybe Oklahoma State is in. And it could come down to it. I mean, like, I don't know if you take them both, if you want to double dip.
Where's
Utah
Louisville? Where's Louisville at?
Louisville's 13.
Okay.
So they're sitting
so you've
here.
got North Carolina. We're taking North Carolina out. We're assuming they go to the SEC in this scenario.
Right.
So Louisville would be in as number 12, assuming you go the route you're going there.
Sure. And then you're looking down here. I mean, KU, I mean, this isn't factoring any basketball ratings, and they're, top 5 basketball brand, but like they're in the 16th position in football. This is just football, and they're still in the 16. So I figured like you have to have KU in that conference.
I would think so too. But I mean, again, if you get to 16 teams, is there enough money? Can you make enough money with 16 teams to pay the 3 at the top? The money they need.
If you unequal revenue share.
With unequal revenue sharing to be within at least striking distance of the Big Ten and the SEC.
I think to make that scenario, you need to reduce down to 12 teams. Moan. And so you'd have 12 teams max.
And you've got teams out there like Louisville paying a lot of money right now. Kansas is putting a lot of money out there on the field right now. Texas Tech is putting a lot of money out there on the field right now. SMU is putting a lot of money on the field out there right now. Utah, again, private equity deal, they're putting money out there. If these guys don't have a place in the Big 2, are they spending that kind of money to either stay in the Big 12 or join the Big 12? I don't think they are. I think they're looking at the possibility of the ACC breaking down, the Big 12 breaking down. Now, you want to talk about a Big 12 ACC merger? Maybe whoever's left over in the Big 12 merges with whoever's left in the ACC and they form a conference.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That would make sense.
Right.
But I don't think you can get past 12 teams. I'm talking financially. Even if you go to a streamer, even if you get a huge deal, you want to keep these three schools at the top, Clemson, Miami, Florida State. Those are the ones that are going to be making you the money. Clemson, you're right. Clemson is falling off. If Dabo doesn't have a winning season this year, they need to talk to him and either get him to retire gracefully or push him out the door.
But they're still in. I mean, Clemson,
they're still in.
South Carolina,
yes.
They're going to be in. These 3 teams are going to be in. Those are shoo-ins, right?
Right.
And then you've got Georgia Tech would be in too.
Right. But these 3 teams are going to be taking probably 50% of the money in a 12-team conference.
I don't know about that. I mean, like these ratings numbers aren't that polar.
Well, I'm saying if, you're best of the rest, these 3 schools are basically your cornerstones that bring most of the value. Who's to say you can't? I mean, if you're Florida State, Miami, Clemson, do they bring 50% of the value of a 12-team conference?
I mean, if you're just constructing this, it's like this. Let me do some math here. Oops. See how much of value they kind of, in this hypothetical, they bring about 31% of value. If you're doing all the brand indexes with the top 12, Florida State, Miami, and Clemson bring 31% of all of it for the 12. So 50% would be outside the bounds, but maybe 35%.
Again, you got to also look at it. You're adding BYU and Utah together. I don't think you're taking both. You're taking one or the other.
I agree with that 100%. You don't take them both.
You're not doubling down in Salt Lake City. You either take BYU because it's a national brand, or you take Utah because of its recency in terms of success when they were in the Pac-12. I don't think you can take both.
I agree with you. I do.
Oklahoma State, and I did this in my SEC video. Oklahoma State actually scores very well for the SEC. Surprisingly, very large brand, draws good people to the stands. It's, they had a couple down years, but they're rebuilding. But I mean, you're taking North Carolina out. Okay, you're giving 2 to Texas. We'll give them Texas Tech, and you're taking either TCU or SMU. I'm not going to rule SMU out because of the amount of money that SMU has already put forward. This might be a situation where the SMU bought their way into the ACC. They may buy their way into the best of the rest. They may cut a $250. Memphis already tried to cut a $250 million check to get into the Big 12. How valuable is a slot in the best of the rest?
Yeah,
it's
pretty dang valuable.
It's 300 million, 350 million. Well, SMU's got the oil money to pay that. Does TCU have the same amount of oil money? I don't know.
No, not that I'm aware of.
You're taking Kansas. Kansas State's getting cut loose. You're not taking 2 schools in Kansas.
Right. You're not taking 2 in Arizona.
You're not taking 1 in Iowa. You're not taking Iowa State. I'm sorry, but much as I like Iowa State, it's just not in a big market. It's in Ames, Iowa. Duke is only 1 point. Duke is 1.0 on your football power index, but I'm just saying it's odd to me. It's odd to me that these schools are spending, especially schools that I think fall, I would say bubble teams of the Power 2. I'd say Kansas, Utah, and Louisville are bubble teams.
Louisville's not a bubble team for the Power 2, but Virginia Tech could be.
Some people think Louisville has a chance at the SEC, so we'll go with that. But they're spending tons of money. They're not spending that kind of money to go make $30 million in the Big 12. Correct? Am I right or am I wrong?
I think that you actually that makes sense what you're saying, but in practicality, they might just be doing whatever it takes to survive and being the Power 3. So if that's the Big 12, so be it. If it's best of the rest, so be it. I don't think they'd prefer if they can get in the best of the rest over the Big 12, they would want that, but I'm not sure best of the rest is actually viable. Like, we came up with a lot of hypotheticals here that Florida State, Miami, and Clemson are still off the board. The likelihood of all that happening is very remote. Very remote. And once any of those 3 brands, 1, 2, or 3, are gone, this doesn't work anymore, especially if Florida State's gone. Done. No way. And so this thing breaks super easily. This is a very outside conversation that we're having. It's much more reasonable to think that the ACC gets cracked bad, backfills with G6 level teams, loses half of their media rights or more. Teams desperately jump over to the Big 12 at all costs, spending whatever so they don't go Oregon State style. That's much more likely.
Fair enough. I just wanted to put it out there. It's a theory I have. It's just a theory. I don't have any information on it. It's pure conjecture. But I did want to put it out there because I think that I think it's worthy to put out there.
Mona, we've been on for 2 hours and 18
I know.
minutes.
I'm going to wrap it up. I swear you. We're going to wrap it up right now. I want to thank everybody who joined us this week on the Big Freaking Friday show. I'm sorry I didn't get the more member comments. I apologize. We had a little bit of a slap fight between you and Bomber, and I'm guilty of instigating that. I want to thank Daniel Gygax for the gifted memberships, Ryan Willie for the gifted memberships, Bulldog Mississippi for the gifted memberships, the new members, Becky Go Huskies and Skaven Yes, Ryan Willie with the super chat, Becky with the super chat, Heartbreak 25 with the super chat, thank you. Kenneth Maynor for his super chats, thank you. Top Town Hawk for every part of his super chats, Cody Reviews for his super chats, appreciate that. Hall of Fame College Football with Jason Watkins, make sure you check out his latest video on the YouTube. Ute gives it very high score. He gives it a 10 out of 10, so definitely check that out. Blue Wolverine, even though you're a Blue Wolverine, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the dig aimed at you. And Amazing Blue as well, thank you for the super chat. And finished it up with a couple Wolverine guys, so there you go. Ute, do you have any words of wisdom you want to parse out before we take off here?
I don't think there's ever been a live show we've had where we've broken out in such detail conference realignment metrics, Moan. This is something right here. But this is the truth. I think that we nailed a lot of stuff on this live show to take away from and some thoughts.
And if you've enjoyed that nerdery and these figures and facts, make sure you're a member. Make sure you check out the latest member-only videos from myself. We've got one on the SEC institutional value, who we think that the best targets for their expansion to go with. And we've got one for the Big 12, where we do a growth value, or who we think is the most valuable for the Big 12. If you received a gifted membership tonight, definitely check those out. I hope you would. If you are a member and you haven't seen them yet, please check them out directly after the show. For myself, we got a super sticker here from Caden the Diesel Freak, and it comes in red. I never knew that before. That's pretty cool. Caden the Diesel Freak, Ohio State Buckeye. Check out his show on YouTube. He gives us a $1.99 super sticker. Thank you, Caden the Diesel Freak. Appreciate that. There you go. There's a dancing Brutus. I'll allow it. I'll allow it. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. I will see you on Sunday with Rock and Rant for a Mowing After Dark. Until then, we'll see you guys next Friday as well for the big Freakin' Friday show.